the Negro still is not free.
We are oppressed. We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Manifest how great you are. Dream about your greatness.
Come hell or high water, I'm going after my
greatness, greatness. Greatness, 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 greatness.
Greatness.
How can I fake this humbly gracious to have this greatness, greatness?
Greatness.
Every time I wake, this greatness takes this black man higher places.
Greatness.
Melanated magic strapped to my back with the fact that I deserve higher praises.
Greatness.
Based on my race. Last place is the only status.
Greatness.
Placed in the basement with no way out. What's the basis?
Greatness.
Look around. All I see are familiar faces with that greatness gazes. Make me wonder what this baseless, tasteless traits of races.
Greatness.
Pointless to think you can keep me down and back in cages.
Greatness.
Shackle minds like gap teeth with the rubber band embraces.
Greatness.
Breaking chains every day that oppress my people for ages.
Greatness.
Faceless acts of rage.
Greatness.
Because of what my race is.
Greatness.
I'm gonna say this price is way too high. Who's gonna pay this? Conversations of reparations ain't even enough to erase this.
Greatness.
Can't get enough of us. We're on your favorite playlist.
Greatness.
But you play us out. Just comply and fucking take this.
Greatness.
I now see my greatness and I know you really hate this.
Greatness.
You can't debate this. I define what my inner grace is.
Greatness.
If it's a true test from God, then I'm gonna ace this.
Greatness.
Is this God within me? I'm not gonna waste this.
Greatness.
Every day the media portray cop car chases of people with the same faces, which is nothing but misguided greatness. Driving aimless and hungry, not knowing death is what that taste is.
Greatness.
Gripping tight on the wheel. Jesus, take this.
Greatness.
Gripping hard on that steel, death or jail is what my fate is.
Greatness.
Survival by any means is the meal. Don't forsake this.
Greatness.
There should be more for us. Life can play tricks.
Greatness.
Where's our Morpheus? We're stuck in a matrix.
Greatness.
Reflections of our Savior has been blurred by all this fake shit.
Greatness.
Looking to the sky for hope is done or quite pervasive.
Greatness.
Killing those who find the knowledge quite persuasive.
Greatness.
Once I'm labeled as abrasive, soon to follow evasive.
Greatness.
Savage is what we're told the angry black man is laced with.
Greatness.
Change the context, change the narrative with what we're graced with.
Greatness.
Pop that chain of mental restraint and fly like we are weightless.
Greatness.
Mother Nature has the key. Please open the gate, man.
Greatness.
I'm here to claim my throne. Don't step on my cake, man.
Greatness.
Black Panther to the bone. No need to rate this.
Greatness.
Greatness, greatness. Greatness, 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 greatness. Make sure you get to take this and loop back for all the late kids.
Greatness.
All the boys and girls who don't think that their lives are precious.
Greatness.
All the people who feel circumstances are a death wish.
Greatness.
All the challenge within that we are blessed with should be acknowledged, not demolished by the oppressor.
Greatness.
Check our true resume. Extremely impressive.
Greatness.
I got nothing left to say, but you can send it
Greatness.
for that greatness. Greatness, 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 greatness. We have a long road ahead to overcome this blatant hatred. We have a long road ahead to overcome this blatant hatred. Damn.
YouTube. What's good? Back again, episode 3. Can you believe it? 3 of Wanted, the voice within organized chaos. Thank you for even joining me and even gracing your presence on this live. I appreciate the support as always. I will definitely do the best I can to entertain the people, as well as hopefully bring some enlightenment, bring some conversation, get some feedback. I don't want to do this by myself. I didn't start by myself. I'm not going to end it by myself. So episode 3. Can an independent woman be submissive? I'm sure a couple people saw that and immediately went like, F that identity. I don't like him. He's got to go. He's talking too much. He's pushing the envelope too hard. Hey, but that's what I do. That's what I do. That's my voice. I want to have the conversations that some people might shy away from. Now, trust me, I am not a Kevin Samuels clone. That's not my style. That's not my speed. I don't agree with everything he says. I'm not saying that what he says sometimes doesn't hit the mark. He can be abrasive, but I'm not in that business. I'm not following that trend. I don't care about that part. Manosphere, all that stuff, I really don't know a lot about. I'm literally just speaking my piece. And for those who've heard my voice before in other lives, I've brought sort of the same type of questions up before. Just, relationship stuff. People that do know me know I ask a lot of relationship stuff. My feeling with that is this is the longest contract I'm going to ever be in. Why not try and understand it to the level that I'm appreciative of certain things that I was taught to ignore. And so that's the interest of identity. That's my interest. That's why a lot of my questions are geared more towards relationships. So welcome back. And so let's walk down this path. It's going to get a little dark. You're going to hate me. Hopefully you don't hate me, but hopefully we can learn from each other because I'm hoping to learn from you guys. So in its purest form, the text can be interpreted as defamation, ridicule to a woman. That's not my angle. I know it's almost clickbait at this point, I guess, because it's definitely not meant to be what it sounds like it should be. But this is a classic example of impact versus intent. What you heard versus what I'm trying to say. And the purpose of this conversation is geared more towards the clarity of the intent. And hopefully the impact is more aligned with a better understanding of the intent. So don't take any of this personal. This is a learning experience. So just walk me down that path. Even if you got to hold my hand, I'm good with that. So again, welcome. Thank you for joining. Let me see who is actually joining us today. Let me check the chat. I think I had some stuff in here from a couple of days ago. Mike Powell and defrauding. I think defrauding, you're here now. All right. He's here on time. Sweet. Welcome to the first live that you've ever heard my voice and you can actually dial in on. Nice. I see KK de jour. What's up, bro? It's been a while. Mrs. VSN, you know how we do. Knowledge TV is here. I see Teresa Jackson, Limitless Jones. Nice. So again, I do things a little different. I'm going to open up because I love to hear other opinions other than my own. I don't necessarily like to go on rants, but I do like to converse. So how do you already copy that? Yeah, I do love to converse. So I don't mind people joining in on the conversation immediately because I want it to be like, if I see you in the supermarket and we get to chit chatting and, what's going on, what's good, how's life. And, maybe we don't talk about politics. That one I do stay away from because it gets ugly. But I will do a religion conversation. I have no problem doing that one, which probably you'll see on another couple lives. I'll probably be touching on some of that as well. So anybody that wants to join up, jump on in there. I will keep going until someone has a challenge for me or they just want to curse me out. That has happened before. So let me open up with my quote of the day. I am a huge Iyanla Vanzant fan. She has quotes for days. One of her most famous ones, if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. I love that quote. Love that quote. Says a lot about someone's inner growth. Says a lot about someone actually thinking outside of their norm. I mean, who really likes to be uncomfortable? No one really likes it, But if you can thrive within it, man, you can open up some doors. You can really, really change your perspective on so many things. So many things. To this day, I have people asking me about just how is it that I stay calm in certain situations, and how is it that, how I move about my real life, and like, wow, nothing bothers you. No, I wouldn't say that. Everybody has buttons. Everybody has buttons. But I can tell you that I'm not stressed a lot. And my rule on that is, I will be serious when I have to, otherwise it's Fruity Pebbles and cartoons for me. I don't give a damn to how old I get. Video games and that's me. That's what I do. I don't care who has an opinion about whether or not it's childish or it's not mature. Trust me, I know when to be mature, and I know when to, have my fun. And I don't let people dictate what that fun level is for me. So that's the quote of the day. So also, I wanted to get interaction from the chat. So I'm hoping that we have a couple ladies in the building here. I know. Hey, Karma's here. Nice. Because I had a few questions for where I want the ladies to actually chime in. So the question is pertaining to the topic. That's what we're going to stick on. If you had to narrow your one attribute for what an independent woman is, just one, not five. I only need one from each lady in the building. If you can narrow it down to one attribute for what an independent woman is, what would that attribute be? I'm curious to see what the women will say, because I already have the male point of view here. I'm going to speak for the male side of things. So, and if the males don't agree, then I guess I'll wait till your show starts, and then I'll support you on your opinion. But I would love to know what the ladies, if you had to narrow down one single attribute that an independent woman is or has, what would that one independent attribute be? I know there's a bunch. I'm not going to run them down yet because I have a couple in my head. But I'm just curious to see what the ladies think about that. So let me go back here. All right, I don't see any ladies in there chiming in on that. So I don't know if you can't or if you just choose not to. Either way, I do not want this to be a one-sided conversation, but if it has to be, it will be. I mean, that's just the reality of it, right? So I'll give it, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'll give it 30 seconds for all the ladies who's joining me to chime in on that one. And while you wait, I will play one of the snippets from my song. It's exactly 30 seconds. Perfect. And then we'll catch up after the 30 seconds.
Now we should know better. We're go-getters, tethered to cheddar, regardless of weather. Spitting truth, which gets wetter as it gets better. Got that cold flow, grab a leather sweater, maybe patent leather or pleather, whatever's your pleasure. Time to come together and treasure these clever letters I put together. However, not at your leisure, no pressure. It's now or never. Hey yo, hip hop, we have a village to raise. Got these mumbling youngins running and gunning for privilege and praise.
Welcome back. Hey, defrauding charlatans, what's good?
Hey, what's going on? What's happening with you?
Finally, man, we've been talking about this for a minute.
Right. That we have. Let me know if my background is too loud. I'm in the park right now.
Okay, you good. You good. You good. So, I did ask the ladies in the chat if they could give me one attribute, one single attribute of what an independent woman would possess. So let me go back and see what we got here. Flexibility. It's a good one. Confidence. Nice, nice. I'm gonna jot these down because I have a list of my own. Flexibility, confidence, self-sufficient. Trying to see if there's any overlap here. I think that's all I have there. Yeah. Confidence, flexibility, and self-sufficient. Okay. Now that was women speaking for women, right? Now I do understand that it will not be the exact list if you ask a man. That's why I didn't want this to be lopsided. So do you have one defrauding? Do you have would you have before I give my list of what I think is a common list? What's a single attribute you think an independent woman would have?
I definitely think self-sustaining is probably number one on the list.
Self-sustainment. Okay. I do for self. Gotcha.
Well,
Gotcha.
not so much as I do for self, as the ability to be able to make decisions on their own
Gotcha.
accord that's in their best interest.
Okay. Okay. So I get that aligns with the self-sufficiency, right?
Yeah,
Self-sufficiency. Gotcha. Gotcha.
that's the
Now
closest.
that makes sense. I'm not mad at that list. I like I said, I have tallied up, and I actually gave 3 because that's why I wanted to get at least 3 opinions in here. I came up with sort of a general list myself of what I perceive it to be based on feedback of just what I'm seeing from women, independent women, right? Self-sufficient women, or whatever you want to call it that. So pay her own bills. I think we're saying the same thing here. Make her own money, make her own way, calling her own shots. I have another one here. May own her own business. Now that could be that's a pretty common thread with entrepreneurial women. It falls in line with you make your own decisions, do what you want. So I'll lump that into the one. But the one that that's glaring, the one that I think is the most controversial, don't need a man in her life for completeness, as being not necessarily an attribute, but more of an attitude, I guess. These are not necessarily my thoughts. This is just my processing, asking this question, from men, women, just what do you think is that mold of what an independent woman is? So the glaring one to me is don't need a man in her life for completeness. I don't want to base everything off of just watching Maury Povich and watching the women on there say I do myself, I do for that's not my level of what I'm trying to bring here. So that's one side of it. So again, here's the second question that will bring to a complete wrap here. Give me one attribute for a submissive woman. The ladies can chime in on that, and as they're chiming in, I have another 30-second track that I can play. I'll be back.
Drop to the floor and skip the boards, that's weekend. Hope guys looking at this. Time to get credit for just being Baptist. Gotta get the kids up. Don't wake master his sleep. We can't disrupt. Breeze door hinges and the lock we rigged up. Open it slow and pray to God it don't get stuck. Okay, head to the church house. Creep to the back and be as quiet as a church mouse. Can't take a breather. Heart running fast, but we gotta reach the preacher. Oh damn, preacher on some bullshit. Trying to slow us down and got us praying at the pulpit.
Welcome back. All right. I do have a lady on the line here. Welcome, QT1.
Hey, what's good, QT1?
Hey, you guys, can you hear me good?
Yeah, you're a little low, but I can hear
Am
you.
I on?
Yeah, you're on. You're on.
Wait,
Hopefully you're not on delay.
Hold on.
Okay. So defrauding,
Okay,
did you
yeah.
have
I don't because
defrauding? Did you?
I don't know if it's my earpiece or not, but yeah, I'm getting static and everything because I'm doing this from the phone for the first time.
Yeah, I hate that too. Sorry, I probably caught you coming from work. My bad. um, yeah, I think defrauding's in the park, so this is not an ideal
Okay,
time for a
listen,
lot of people.
real quick.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, I'm gonna try to connect because I'm out and about and the internet isn't really stable, but I'm gonna try it. So give me like 2 minutes and I'm gonna try to hop on from the laptop and see if that helps. Okay.
Sure. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm about to get out of the wind in a second, so I can be a little bit more. Because I was riding a bike through the park and whatnot, losing this
You know,
weight.
I appreciate you just joining, man, and you actually tried to fit me in. I'm appreciative of that, man.
Oh man, you already know what it is.
So do you think
Let's
do you
see.
have an attribute for a submissive woman?
Uh, Depends. What type of attribute are you looking for? Do you mean something positive? Do you mean the run of the
Does
mill
it,
what everybody is saying?
if you had to narrow down to one, because there you can go different directions, and I'm trying to be as unbiased as I can possibly be, and just like not lead the question. So whatever way
so
you want to answer it.
so the way I'll answer that is I'll say an active listener. A submissive woman is very good at actively listening.
Okay, a listener. Gotcha. Okay, let me see the chat here. Let me see if I can get any Stargate here. Hey, Stargate, what's good? Yeah, we're talking relationships. Your spidey senses might have been going off. Yeah, you know how that goes, right? So I got from Karma 52, compromising.
Oh, that's a really good one.
Yeah, that is a really good one. Compromising. Nice, nice, nice. I don't think I see anything else here. Yeah, as far as the question goes. So, all right, so we can move on. Not one word, blank giving. And I'm not sure what that means, Mrs. VSN. I apologize. Slander God will start change her availability. I'm not understanding these chats right now, and I don't even get high, so I don't know what's going on right now.
I can't even see the chat.
Yeah, some of these are not making sense. Maybe they're having a conversation within themselves. I don't know, but either way, so compromise a good one. That's a really good compromise. So for my list, I have 3 here that are. I didn't necessarily go down the attribute path. It was more of just taking all the information I had and wrapping it into 3 more of a statement of what people think a submissive woman is. Wait on your man, hand and foot, cooking and cleaning. That was like one of the more common answers that I got as far as what
Yeah,
a
I've
submissive
heard that a
woman
lot.
is. This one's a little more challenging, but succumb to abuse, physical, emotional, financial, etc. Giving in, saying, "All right, fine." It comes with being submissive. I've heard that before, and I was surprised, but some women actually felt like that's part of being submissive. And
Yeah,
also, this
that's a very old
conversation
school
can be.
thought.
Yes, this conversation can evolve. Don't hold these words to be gospel here. We could talk about all of this. So, and the third one that I heard a lot of: have sex anytime he wants. Uh,
I heard this
that
one
one was
yesterday.
okay. Then I'm not too far off then. But yeah, so those are the things that I got back, and I didn't want to challenge them at the time. I was really just trying to get information of just what is it to you, because I have an idea of what it is to me. Now, it's interesting that you asked whether or not you wanted to go positive or negative. Now, Can you elaborate on that? Like, what were you thinking positively and what were you thinking negatively?
So, like, I'll start with the negative first, because that's so easy and comes right off the top of the head. So the negative stuff, like wanting to have sex whenever you want to have sex, right? So from the older generation point of view, like my father's generation would be like the 50-year-olds and stuff like that, kind of like some of the people in the sector. From his generation, they were taught that that is how a woman is supposed to be. They're supposed to be submissive. They're supposed to listen to what you say, wait on you hand and foot, be ready to have sex with you when you want to have sex. And I think it was one other one that you said that was really interesting that they agree with. But it is a very it's a very alpha male type of personality. And I
I
find that
agree.
most black males that are like in their 50s, successful, were positive in the community and different things like that, they normally have that personality type. And it's something that they actually just don't get it from men. They were actually getting it from their mothers. Their mothers were telling them things like this, and that these are the type of women that they should be looking for. So it was reaffirmed by the women at that time during that generation. And that would be people that's around in their 70s, 80s, and 90s, from what I
Right.
understand.
Right. Right. And I actually agree with what you're saying. There is a generational gap in the information and how it's delivered and how it's received.
Yep.
So there is no one answer here, which is why I think Unadulterated said this sounds like a list reasons for women not to be submissive. and it sounds to be, it definitely it doesn't sound positive at all. But this
Real talk.
I guess what I didn't do was keep into account, like, try and get someone of an older generation, someone, of my generation, someone of a younger generation. I didn't do that. It was more like whoever wants to answer the question, so to speak. So it was just a lot of randomness to it. But again, I really just wanted an opinion other than my own. And I definitely have different opinions as to the list that I got. My list, I guess, is more positive, as defrauding charlatan said. You can go positive and negative with this question. Depends on which one you want to deliver. But yeah, I'm definitely on that side of I want to be able to walk away from this conversation with an understanding from all parties that understand you could say one word and everybody can walk away with a different perspective of what you're talking about. I'm hoping that we all can get on the same page here. And again, I'm very strict with certain definitions. So I like to hear what people think it is, and then we can walk through what it actually is. All right. So, and as far as my input onto the topic, independence and submissive, they play roles in relationships, and I don't think that they play well together. In my opinion, these are my opinions. These are not, randomized questions from other parties. I don't think they play well personally. I do have the feeling that independence can be a hindrance to a relationship if the relationship is the goal. That's one key piece here. If we're talking relationship, if we're talking partnership, anything of those realms, I think independence is a hindrance. Now, as an individual, do your thing, make your money, live your life. But understand, once you start talking relationship, you're immediately talking about sharing to some degree, whether it's 5% of yourself or 95% of yourself. Depends on how much you want to give up.
And I 100% agree with that.
Yeah. And as far as submissiveness, plays a role as well. But when I hear submissiveness, I do not hear oppression. I do not hear abuse. I do not hear, because although I've seen it growing up, and I have generations that feel like being submissive is do whatever he tells you to do. I know that side of it. I've seen it. I grew up around it, but I don't define it in that manner personally. For me, submissiveness is trust. Submissiveness is respecting one's needs. Now, I don't believe that it's a one-sided thing either, because any man out there that held a door that put a coat around his lady when she was cold, that rubbed her feet when she wanted, whatever that is. You were in a submissive role at that moment. It's not just for the women. Now, for the women, I do implore you, please realize that when you say you don't want to be submissive, understand you've been submitted to as well from a man at some degree, but you didn't see it that way. You called it chivalry. You called it, he's just a nice guy, and but he's to some, even if he doesn't mean it. Don't get me wrong. There's players out there that figured out that shit works. That shit really works. But for those who really want to do it for you and do it for you, your lady, he's being at some level submissive to you. So it's not disrespectful for you to be submissive to him if you see it as trust. Do you trust him with your heart? Do you trust him with your future kids? Do you trust him? If you can't trust him with any of that stuff, then I don't even know what you're doing. You're wasting your time at that point. But understand, it's not just a man-woman thing. I know in the title I said submissive woman, but this definitely brings the conversation to all parties. That's the idea of what I want to do here. I want to have that conversation. Is anything that I'm saying making sense? Defrauding?
Yeah, most definitely. I also share that same opinion. So, I mean, of course, it's gonna make sense to me.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and challenge me whenever I say something goofy, man. I'm not perfect here. I'm winging it right now. So,
one of the things I'll say is that with me being from the newer generation, I got an opportunity to see the different outcomes of the alpha male perspective of how you should treat a woman and how she should yield to you. I've seen like the toxic answer to it. I've seen it play out so many times. Even if the woman had been totally submissive and the man was super successful and had all the money and everything else like that, normally it always ended in tragedy. There was a lot of scorn. There was a lot of hatred for one another for different reasons. And it was mostly because of the reasons of how the contract was laid out, that, oh, I'll do everything and all you should do is cook, clean, and take care of the house and the kids. So that mentality, I've seen it play out in so many different men's lives. And then I've always seen the tragedy, the cheating, the not really respecting the woman like that because she doesn't do much for you, feel like you could have did something better or been with somebody better. And then on the women's side, I've seen as to where they were distrusting. They felt like the man wasn't doing the right thing or that they could have been with somebody more successful. It's always something, even when the household was way over six figures. And then I also got an opportunity to see the positive side of it. So I got an opportunity to see men who went about it a different way and use a different approach, an approach that's similar to what you're talking about. What they did is the most unpopular opinion in the Black community. I don't see it that much in the Black community, but sometimes I do. But it's being able to take turns, understanding when it's your turn to submit versus your turn to lead, and understanding that the best way to be a leader is to be a good follower. For people to understand and get that is very difficult and it's very rough. That doesn't sound like an alpha male tendency, but you'll find that most of the leadership within our military or other places that use what you would call alpha males, they understand how to lead as well as follow. They understand when it's time for them to take the front and center stage, and they also know when it's time to get into the backstage and listen to somebody else's voice. And that's the number one thing you need to understand. As a good leader, you need to be a good follower. You need to be a good listener. You need to be able to understand when your strengths are needed and when your weaknesses need to be covered by the woman's strength. So that's what I would have to say about that.
That is a great point. Knowing when to lead, knowing when to jump in, knowing when to step into that role. It's an interesting theory I had, just being in the relationships I had growing up and seeing. I felt like I was going against the grain sometimes when I actually would. I guess today it's called simping, right? You cater to a woman. It's called simping, right? Now,
right.
I'm a man of a certain age. I don't care what you call me. That doesn't hurt me for somebody to call me that. but I feel like I now have an understanding of what's more important. I want to cultivate a relationship. How am I going to do that if the person I'm supposed to be a partner with feels like their voice can't be heard, or they don't have an opinion, or you do what I tell you to do? How does that doesn't make sense to me now? As I got older, I was like, that it doesn't make sense. So why is that not the norm to be? Why is simping why is that so negative now? To just do things for your lady. Like what I don't know. I'm lost on it, and maybe it's a generational gap. I think you're a little younger than me, right?
Yeah.
I think you're a little younger than me, but I never understood it. But I'm listening. I really would love to know what does this mean,
So
and that's why I
simping.
opened up with. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say what simping was, but go ahead.
Go ahead, do it, knock it out.
All right. So what I've understood and noticed is that simping has different definitions depending on the generation. I don't think everybody has a clear meaning on what it is, because when I heard an older man tell me yesterday what simping was, he boiled simping down to, oh, a man that's having woman problems and the woman is leading him and telling him what to do. That's what an older guy boiled it down to. He was about, I want to say a little bit much younger than my dad. He about 45. So that's what he said it was. He's super alpha, right? But there was the younger generation. When you ask the younger generation of guys that are in my unit, I asked them like, "Hey, what was simping?" Because they brought it up one day, and I just wanted to know exactly what they thought it was in the 25-year-old to 20 range. From what I understand, simping means that you will change your personality, the way you act, the way you talk, the kind of clothes you wear, and you do all of this stuff to cater towards the woman's needs so that she can choose you and that she will continue to be with you simply because you've changed everything about you. You don't have your own likes and interests, your own thoughts and opinions and ideas anymore. That everything you do is for her, and she knows that you're completely subservient to her. That's what the younger generation equate that to. And those two things are kind of different in a lot of senses. So that is what I've been seeing and understanding. And then a lot of times, like I said, I also seen on YouTube, people clearly have absolutely no idea of what it is, because we go into different races and different cultures. They look at simping as different things. Like what a black community look at simping as versus what the white community looks at simping as is completely different. There might be people that was in the chat that was kind of like, oh, I don't know. But that is what I've been noticing. Definitely the Caucasians think simping is changing your entire personality to whatever the woman's needs are and whatever the woman likes and whatever she wants. So I'm just putting that out there. Go ahead.
Yeah, great points. Now, do you guys see why I wanted defrauding on this line? He has a lot to bring other than funny jokes in the chat, people.
Oh yeah, I can get my Derek Jackson on today too. No, I'm fucking around.
So real quick question for you though: what is your perspective on the whole Kevin Samuels stuff going on and all the hoopla about how his approach is negative to women? What is your stance on that?
So I didn't really know much about him at first. I started knowing more about him later. When I was watching Kevin Samuels and I was seeing how he was dressed and stuff like that, I was like, in a way, there's some males that would go out on the limb and say that he's simping by the way that he's dressed, wearing a fanny pack on the front of your chest. That's some weird shit, at least from where I'm from. Like, I don't see guys doing that. But I'm starting to see the younger generation start to do stuff like that. Like the skinny jeans for me was wild. I'm not 25. I'm in my 30s. I'm 31. So it was baggy pants. I grew up in the crunk times, right? So people was getting it in and they was fighting, stuff like that. There was a lot of street stuff going on in Chicago. Still is. But the clothes changed, the mentality, how you wear, how you carry yourself. His whole goal is to get money, become successful, so then you can choose which woman you want and what your potential suitor is. I don't agree with his approach because being married to a black woman I think that that's detrimental to their self-esteem. The way that he's tearing them down on live, like I don't like this at all. To be honest, a lot of people go, "Oh, he's tearing down men as well," and stuff like that, and I don't think it's at the same rate as how much he goes in on women, and mostly women of color. And every woman of color is not in the situation that he portrays women of color in. And I don't see other people jumping on here in other communities and other cultures doing that and becoming that widespread while putting down people in their own race. So I ain't with it. I really don't like it. Don't like it
Yeah.
when Tommy does it either. And I think Tommy is the original Kevin Samuels, if you ask me.
Oh
He's the
wow.
one that started all of it. And if you really watch Tommy and you really listen to Tommy, you would know that Kevin Samuels stole a lot of Tommy's material. He stole a lot of his talking points. Even some of his calls are the same as Tommy Sotomayor's calls. And I was a person who didn't even watch Tommy like that until I had a friend that was a Hebrew Israelite, and he kept telling me, "Hey, watch Tommy Sotomayor." And I'm like, "All right, man, I'm giving it a try." I was busy watching Smoke God at the time, but he was like, he was like, "Go ahead and give it a try, man. Come check it out." So I go watch Tommy Sotomayor, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then I'm like, "Wow, this sounds a lot like what's his name? This sounds like Kevin Samuels." And he was like, "Yeah, I know, man. Ain't it crazy?" And then I go, and Tommy Sotomayor sounds like he had a lot of Tariq's early stuff. And I'm like,
Hmm.
it's just weird how if you watch these YouTubers and you watch some of them, the ones that got successful, they kind of have similar talking points. Then you find that some of them were friends. They knew each other. They all came up around about the same time. Certain ones of them were more successful than others. Like everybody knows Tariq from Roots, right? Not Roots, I'm sorry. Whoop, my bad.
Oh
Everybody
wow.
knows him from Hidden Colors, 1, 2, and however many came out
Definitely
after
not the
that.
same movie.
My bad. My bad. Hey man, I'm riding a bike and it's hot as
Hey,
hell.
rock
So
out,
check
man.
it
Do your
out.
thing.
So check out. People know him from Hidden Colors. I remember when I was a kid, I was like 12 years old when that came out or something like that. And my dad had sat it down on the TV and he was like, "All right, check this out." And then we watched Hidden Colors, and that's when I first saw Umar Johnson. I didn't even, I was so young at the time and so into other things that I didn't even notice that Umar Johnson was the same psychologist came out of the Breakfast Club years later when I was much older. And then I was like, "Oh yeah, I do remember him. He was on Hidden Colors, right?" So then I was talking to my dad about it, and I was like, "Hey, Umar's doing this and he's doing that." And then my dad was like, "Oh man, that's good, that's positive." And yeah, and your opinion on that is whatever. I ain't gonna dredge that up. But yeah, that's just basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, I hear everything you're saying, man. I see the way Kevin moves, and I can tell you he can probably not necessarily soften the way he says things because he's definitely for the blatant truth, but I feel like it has a little heat on it. It's not truth for the sake of giving truth, it's for the shock value as well.
Yeah,
And it's nothing new. It's nothing new.
it's the
He's
YouTube
just
game.
he's just the flash in the pan. He's the hottest thing right now. So trust me, I understand that platform. It's as big as most YouTubers would dream of being. Like that's a level that if you're going to be on YouTube and creating channels and subs, and you would love to see the numbers he's seeing. You know, but
Exactly.
let me put a. I got something highlighted here from Unadulterated Truth. He says, if you have an intelligent woman, why would you not allow her to utilize her skill set to facilitate a better life for both of you? That's not catering or simping. That's intelligence. Great
Exactly.
words, dude. Great words. I really feel like that part comes at later in life. I don't think a lot of 20-year-olds are thinking like this because it's against the norm. And I think the simping thing has been redefined as defrauding charlatans mentioned. Depending on who you ask, it could be a different definition.
Each time.
I'm not even going to lie. When I first came to this sector, I didn't hear it I never heard that word so much until I came to this sector. And even I got it wrong of what I interpreted it to be based on the insults that were thrown around as you simping, and that guy's a simp. And I was trying to like piece it together through context. Like, what is a simp? What exactly? So even I got it wrong until it was like, wait, it does matter who you ask. It does matter what generation they come from. It does matter what experiences they've had. So I'm not necessarily finding out the true definition. That's just something that someone else figures it. They probably did the same thing I did, heard it and said, hey, that's what that means. And got it
wrong. Right. Hey, that's what that mean. All right. We going to start using that shit. We rocking out. That's pretty much what people was doing.
Right.
And I noticed
that's exactly what I saw. And I'll admit, I fell into that. I never asked the question, what exactly is a simp? I don't know what that is. But I heard of it. And, based on what I heard, sounds like somebody maybe, just do what their woman says. But there's so many levels to that. Like I said, this is why I want to have these conversations, man. I love going deep like this because I get something out of it. Hopefully everyone else is getting something out of it. So let me see if any other comments here. So you are married, right? Defrauding?
Yeah, I've been married for around about 4 years now.
4 years. Okay. I'm pushing 6, roughly, somewhere around there.
What's up? And you over the 5 year.
Yeah, we made it.
Yep.
And she doesn't hate me.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
I came into this with a little baggage that not like kids or previous relationship and all that. I came into this marriage with a not understanding fully of what I wanted, but after my experiences, after I got through them, I realized what I really wanted, and I literally met somebody that had a lot of it coming through the door. Now, one thing I did learn is I did not expect to meet, the one that's going to check off every 10 points that I have of what I'm looking for in a woman. She's going to check all of them, or if she hits 9, she's got to go. Like, I didn't go in with that. I think that's unfair, right? Because part of this, I'm not the same as when we first met because we grew into something, right? It's completely different. Completely different. So I don't hold her to some basic list of, this is what you're supposed to do. Now for me, my role, I got to make sure she's good. How am I going to expect her to do things for me when I don't even make sure she's able to do those things for me? I want to open as many doors as I can for that woman. Regardless of what people think about that, like, a woman's controlling you. You can believe what you want to believe, but understand that's my partner. So I don't give a shit about a simping title. Like, that means nothing to me.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I feel like it's so much conflicting information. Like, don't get me wrong, my dad was like super amazing. Stayed in my life the whole time, did everything he was supposed to do, gave me a lot of morals and values and ethics that made life real easy. But some of the conflicting information he gave me, such as, with the women and whatnot and what to do and what to say, later on, before that, he was giving me information like, hey, the only people you got in this world is just you and your family. Everybody on the outside of that door or the other side of that door is the enemy until you know otherwise. And again, that's because of where I grew up too. So because of where I grew up, it was extremely hood, extremely volatile. There's a lot going on. And I didn't even have to grow up there because my parents actually was really high as far as money. Like, they had a lot of money. But they like living around their people. And they mind living in the hood if they was around their people. Their minds had to change over time as they got older because they had me when they was young. My mom was 19 and moved from Mississippi down here to Chicago. So she didn't, they weren't really fully adults yet, you know what I mean? So they had me at a time where they got married. Then they had me a year later. And then after that, they were growing at the same time as raising me. So their mentality started changing. Even though they made a whole lot of money, it was over six figures before I was even the age of 12. The thing was is that they still had the mindset of I gotta be around my people. I gotta be in the hood. I gotta be with people that I grew up around. They still had that mentality, and they still had that mentality that everybody was the enemy. But for whatever
Wow.
reason, I felt to myself like, but from a child's perspective, looking at my mom and dad, you would think that there was some animosity or hostility towards her because I'm like, this is supposed to be your partner. This is supposed to be the person that's got your back, that's fighting all these enemies with you. So you and her should be so solid to the point as to where it shouldn't be a thing where it's like one person is subjugating the other. It should be more of a teamwork type of thing, fighting together. But I kind of just saw him rule like he was a king or something. Like that's the way I saw it. And I know a lot of people probably heard that trigger word. It was like, yeah, he is a king.
Right,
And yeah,
right.
I get it. I get it. Yeah, that is
Yeah,
essentially what we say to each other when we say, "What up, king?"
it fits the narrative. It fits
Yeah,
the
fits the
narrative
narrative.
of what a relationship or just what a woman being submissive to her man, like it fits that narrative.
Right.
And I definitely don't think that there's a one size fits all. There is a general statement we can make here, but overall, I can't say it enough. And I think you hit the nail on the head again, defrauding. There has to be some level of appreciation as a partner. You know, this is one of the could potentially be one of the longest contracts you will ever have in your entire life. Why are you not studying it as such?
Yep.
Why is this not treated as a more committed look? I'm in. If you're in and I'm in, let's roll. Let's rock. Let's do what we do. Now, I think sometimes the question that usually is highlights the problem when you ask someone, why did you join that partnership? Why did you get married? The answer sometimes to that is either I don't know or I just was in love. Yeah, love is not going to pay the bills and it's not going to hold
Nope.
hold this thing. There's so many levels outside of love, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But again, part of that is this is your partner. Hold her down, she holds you down. Why would you expect someone to cater to you when you don't even consider catering to them? And I'm not saying that in the negative sense. I'm saying it in the respectful sense. Knowing what they like, what they don't like. Hey, I know you like mustard instead of mayonnaise. That's not simping if you actually just go out and buy mayonnaise. Like it's like a level that you don't see until you when your eyes are open. You're like, holy shit! Like.
Right.
You can listen to the wrong person and not have a clue that what they're giving you is like, hey, ain't this the reason why you still single?
Yeah.
Like,
Ain't this the reason why you on your second or third divorce right now? Like,
right.
still ain't get it right yet, eh? Like,
Yeah. So trust me, I understand a little better that the word simping is definitely used. You got to really figure out who you're talking to and what their angle is because it varies across this entire sector, man.
yeah.
But I'm not even gonna get on the level of once kids are introduced because that's a whole nother level again.
Yeah.
Are you a father?
Yes, I have a son. He's a year and a couple months now. About
Okay.
a year and 2 or 3 months. So he yeah, that changed everything. It really
Yeah.
did. Like
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
it really tests the marriage and shows you what people's strengths, weaknesses are. It's like your hardest moment because now at this particular point in time, it's not about the honeymoon phase. It's not about the love for one another. Just about our personal dreams and goals and aspirations. But it became about what kind of lifestyle are we going to provide for this child? What are we going to do for this child? What kind of school is he going to go to? What kind of neighborhood we're going to live in? What kind of advantage are we going to set for him? Because all these different decisions that we make change the outcome of what kind of an advantage or what kind of a head start he gets versus his peers.
Right.
And you know, I think if I had of not been military at the time that we had a child, I think things would have been rough. I think we wouldn't have had money like that. We wouldn't have had like the wherewithal of what to do next. I think we would have just been living paycheck to paycheck, doing whatever we could to make things meet, and then trying to normally advance in the job without really doing everything we needed to do as parents. But I do think that for some people like myself, military did a lot of reconditioning on the way I think. So I started looking at things a lot differently after I came back, and especially once we had the kid. I thought about all of my childhood experiences, all the advantages I was given. Because even though I lived in the hood, I also went to a school where I didn't see anybody that looked like me when I was a child. Not at all.
Oh
There was
wow.
only 2 or 3 black kids in my school the entire time I went, and I was one of 2 or 3. And everybody else was Caucasian or Hispanic. Hispanics were like, I don't know, 2 of those. So it was one of those kind of schools where they had the benefit of being able to teach deaf children. And my brother and sister both deaf. So they went to that school, and my parents figured, why not send me to the same one? And it would give me an advantage in some ways. Academically, it kind of did. But at the same time, it was a hard adjustment when I got to high school and I switched from a private high school to a more hood high school that was in my neighborhood. It was a hell of a switch, and I had to get with it real quick. Luckily for me, spent a lot of my time in the hood because most of my friends were from what they call out here the wild hunters, and I knew a lot of people out here. And it's kind of like because of that, I had the best of both worlds. I spent 3 months being around people that look like me, sound like me, was able to get down and know what to say, when to say it, what not to say, what color to wear, when not to wear a certain color, different things like that. But at the same time, um, this is one of those things where I'm like, I'm not sure what I'm going to do for my son, whether I'm going to give him that same experience or am I going to give him more of the experience that my peers that I went to grammar school with had. They had certain advantages that I didn't have, seen certain things that I didn't see within their neighborhood. And I think that changed my outlook a little bit. And I think it does something to a person's confidence and it does
Yes.
something to a person's temperament. So my temperament was not one that was like theirs. They were kind of soft and kind of peaceful, right? I didn't have that. I was very tenacious, hardcore, grit. I had a lot of grittiness. So I was one of those people that was always in trouble going to school, always messing with people, always fighting. And that was something that my peers at that particular school wasn't doing. But it was about the neighborhood, right? So I think I'm at a hard place where I'm at a crossroads of how I'm going to do this. And I would yield the floor to you. Sorry.
No, no, you're good. You're good. You rocking out. I appreciate the perspective. Speaking of perspectives, we have a varied one on the panel.
What's good, fam? How you feeling, Dendy?
What's
What's good?
good? What's good?
Charlton, how you feeling, brother?
What's good? Feeling good, man.
All is good here, man. Just taking this in, bro. I said I'm definitely gonna catch your next live. So.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any opinions on what's been discussed thus far?
I just caught on about 10 minutes ago, so I'm trying to pick up
Okay.
what's happening. Not trying to repeat or rehash anything.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, but in a nutshell, it's just trying to get the idea, understand where the independent woman and the submissive woman exists in a relationship, if it's even possible. And I guess we're just talking about experiences and definitions of the cultural terms like simping and all that other stuff that comes with it. As I said before, I'm not here to be preaching any Kevin Samuels, any of his mantras. He does his thing. I think a lot of it is for show, but that's just my opinion. I am not here to clout chase and all that other stuff. I just want to hear opinions of others that I've been rocking with for how long. And, you know, we got almost 20 people here. And if I could talk to all of you, I wish I could. Because I get to be a stronger person when I have a perspective other than my own. And it might be better than mine. So I'm a listener. That's where I'm at. But yeah, I did grow up definitely on the I guess if you want to say the broke side of things. I mean, thinking back, I'm wondering how Christmas has even happened in my household of 5 kids, and I'm the youngest, and it was we didn't have a lot. We didn't have a lot, but the weird thing is that shaped me into being so careful of what I do to make sure that my child never gets to see that side. It's not that I'm embarrassed. It's just that if I have a choice, I'm going to make a difference.
Right.
And I'm sorry, defrauding. You have a mic.
Sorry, I'm turning away from the wind right now.
Okay. Yeah. So I get that some of the things that we've learned to teach our children is you heard it growing up. Then it's like, okay, do I pass that on? Do I deviate from that path and go my own way? I honestly can say, as a parent, there are things that I follow that I grew up with that I feel are either I don't have a better perspective or I feel like it's the right way to move because, after seeing other ways of doing things, I think that was a good way. And don't get me wrong, my parents didn't get it right all the time. I'm not even trying to get close to that because, I mean, they were probably winging it too. So I don't hold them to any of that, scrutiny of, you bad mother, bad father because you didn't do A, B, and C. I'm just fortunate enough to do things for my child that I wish I had. And that literally consumed me up to this point. Now, one other thing back to the topic we're talking about is what drove me to where I am now is I did see the negative side of what submissive is to some people. I saw it and I didn't like it. I hated it because it was happening to people or women in my family that I loved. And I had nothing to do with it, but I couldn't change it either. And I literally made a promise to myself, I will never, ever do that to any woman I'm involved with. Now, mind you, I was only like 12 when I started realizing something's off here. Like this can't be the way. So, again, I don't care if anybody call me simping for that. I don't care. But the idea of it is I would have loved to have put smiles on the faces of the women in my childhood, the adults in my childhood. I wish I could have gave them smiles, but now I have a choice. I have a chance to do that with my wife now. Why would I not take advantage of that? And I will 100. Do it regardless of the critique and negative connotation anyone pulls from it. Whatever. Don't care. Because like defrauding said, when the doors close, we're the only ones in the house. So why the hell do we care about what's going on the outside? It's us.
Yeah.
It's us, man. So anything, Barry?
Well, one thing I'd like to put out there is that I traveled a little bit around, and I grew up very similar to you. And I can see a couple other folks in the chat. I grew up in Philly in the 70s and the 80s, and we know how it was back then in the 90s. So we know how it was. We know what happened in 82 and 83. We all know what happened to early in life.
I learned
this word.
I'm sorry. You there, Barry?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, you were getting in and out.
I'm still here too.
Okay.
Okay. So the word was pathology, and just Google that real quick. But I learned very early in life how to recognize pathology, and it's a little dangerous in our community that we continue to push and glorify pathology because we tie that to a piece of strength. And that's where I see the biggest issue with this whole, submissive women, submissive, the whole simp thing, all that stuff. Our culture is I would dare to say one of the only cultures that glorifies pathologies because we see that as a badge of strength. And we don't see the other side of that. The other side is that we don't understand what normal is. And when we don't understand what normal is, we start to use words like caping, simp, and so forth. What culture glorifies the fact that you don't adore your loving mate, the person that you said you wanted to bond the rest of your life with, the person that you said you wanted to procreate with? What other culture says it's not acceptable to do that? And that's what I think is our biggest issue, is that we just don't recognize what pathologies are. The few of us that recognize it know how to operate and turn away from it, but a majority of us glamorize it, and that's one of the biggest issues. Because I'm reading about this whole simp thing, I listened in on that, and I'm thinking like, all right, dude, this man said he wants to make his wife happy. What is wrong with that? who in their right mind can say something's wrong with that? But in our culture, we'll have a couple, two, three people that actually will stand up and say, yeah, you're this, you're that, because you want to make your wife elated to see you. I don't, or your husband elated to see you. I'm just not tracking with that.
I'm with you. I'm with you in that same. I'm with you all the way up through the Philly stuff too. So I get it. I see it as. I mean, I don't. I guess you can put the word ignorance on it, but it's not ignorance when someone actually still gives you the tools and you
Right.
ignore it. That's not ignorance.
Mm-hmm. That's a choice.
Yeah, that's not ignorance. It's not
Yeah.
like the answer's not there. I think we have enough people saying, or at least speaking up and saying it. But I'm tired of that. They're young, so
Hey,
that doesn't mean that you can't teach them, though, or at least explain to them there's a different way of doing it. Yes, I'm sorry, defrauding.
Side note, I just wanted to ask varied perspectives. I heard you say something interesting. One of your vocabulary words. You said tracking. Where did you hear that from, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, tracking. Oh, I was in the Air Force for a good bit. So
Got you. I'm Air Force as well. That's why I
that's
was
what's
like
up.
tracking. So older generation word of the Air Force.
Oh, yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. That's how I got to
Heard about
travel a little bit. I used
right.
to hoop a little bit, and then after I stopped hooping, when I joined the military, I traveled a good bit. So see a little bit.
Yeah, got it. My MTIs would say that.
Yeah, it's an old folk word.
I see. It's like everybody in their 40s and 50s up there would think tracking.
Yeah,
Hey, are you
yeah,
tracking? And I'm like, yeah, I'm tracking. I get it. And that's what's up. That's funny.
yeah. Most definitely.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like these are just us sitting here chatting about this stuff. Anybody that can get something from it. I know I'm learning. I hope everybody else out there is learning something. I think defrauding needs to learn about microphones.
My bad. I just thought about it as I was riding. I'm like, damn, I'm going pretty fast.
This guy's riding a bike on a live. Now that's dedication. I like that. No defrauding is not on the payroll, people.
Oh yeah.
What's up?
Yeah, most definitely. Smoke God is putting some money into the bags, into the pockets, man. No, I'm playing. Who they say?
Hey.
Must be logic is paying, man. Let me stop. I'm just playing, y'all.
No, it's cool. It's cool. All I know is I need my receipts paid. I didn't get anything for my deposits on that other channel, man. So I'm just saying. All I got was evicted. But yeah,
Hell.
so I'm definitely loving the vibe of what we're hitting here. I wish QT could have stayed on. Let me see. Let me throw the link out there again. I would love a lady's perspective on this one. I'm like I said, I'm speaking for all the guys out there. Other than defrauding, he has his own mind and he's speaking it well. I'll be the voice of the guys today, as best I can. So not gonna sound like Kevin Samuels, and if you call me a simp, that's okay. I'm okay with that. My feelings aren't hurt by that. So what do you think? I'm going through my notes here. So we covered the definitions. What independence is. So where do you think the defrauding? Where do you think the common ground is for independence and submissiveness? Meaning, where does it? Do they exist? Can they coexist? And how do they coexist?
Oh man, that's an advanced question. Uh,
I'm sorry.
it's a tough one. Okay, so I would say this. Uh, so I look at it as I could be wrong. I'm just speaking off the fly. I look at it as light and dark, and I feel like it's hard for them to both coexist at the same time. But is that necessarily true if certain shadows are still shades of gray? Isn't that light and darkness existed at the same time? So what I mean by that is that I believe that you can be both independent and also be submissive at the same time. One of the perfect examples of this is say for instance, my wife, while I'm at home and I have plans and ideas about the future, my career, how things are going to work, what kind of school Tino or my son may go to. If I have these decisions, right, and I tell her this is what I want to do, and she decides to submit at that moment, she can also be independent and have her own thoughts and ideas about what she's going to do. And then what we can do is we can come to a mutual agreement where both sides and both parties are satisfied. And that, in a sense, is exactly what I mean by the shade of gray. If both parties are in agreement about what's happening, we're both getting our way at the same time, but we're also going to have some qualms about how we're getting our way because we're not totally and independently getting our way fully, if you get what I mean.
Yeah,
And
I got you.
that's how I would answer that question. Plus, I also believe that with my wife being independent, when I deploy and I leave and I'm gone for a while, right? Who's handling the bills? Who's handling all the household needs? Who's handling making sure that he wakes up in the morning time? She still goes to work. These are the other things that you have to think about. So she still goes to work. So she's still able to be independent, still able to pay the bills on time, still able to come up with plans. She got to come up with one every day I'm gone, right? So
Right.
in my opinion, that in itself is being independent. That's being self-sufficient. So that's what I would have to say about that.
Okay. So I guess when daddy's home, he's got it, but when he has to go, somebody's got to run the show.
Well, not all the time. As I said, I still lend an ear and I still submit to some of the things that she says when she has great ideas.
Thank you
And
for,
when her
'cause I
ideas
didn't mention
supersede my
that.
own.
I apologize.
It's all right. It's all right. I
No,
said a
because
lot. I know.
that's a great point. Because I didn't leave that out on purpose. That was on my mistake. But that's a great point that you definitely had to fall into a pocket of submissiveness, right?
Yeah, at
Like,
times when
but that doesn't mean you're not a man. That doesn't mean that you're less of a man. Because look, that's part of the relationship. You submit to some degree to your spouse, whatever,
give
man
and
or
take.
woman. So we got Stephanie on the line. I think you said a woman adjacent. I think that's what you titled it, Steph. But
Lady adjacent.
lady adjacent. I'm sorry. My
Yeah.
apologies.
Yeah. People say our acronyms and our terms are very confusing, and I always say, try living with it. It's even more confusing. So,
True.
Wow.
but I think something to just talk about what is that defrauding charlatans and things?
Yes, it
ma'am.
is.
Okay, hey, dude. So to kind of piggyback off what he was saying, growing up, a saltine, trash type person in the woods, and fundamentalist Christian. What I saw a lot was that, the men weren't particularly self-sufficient. They really didn't. They weren't able to do much for themselves in the way of household type chores. They couldn't iron their own clothes. They sure couldn't, change a diaper or anything. They really didn't even touch their kids. they weren't self-sufficient in any real way, except they went to work and earned the money, and they prayed before dinner, and they got to run the church. But like, really, the woman was tasked with running the show, and doing pretty much everything. Maybe not
Right.
working outside the home. We really didn't believe in that, but we really, like, the women were tasked with basically doing everything. But at the same time, we espoused this belief that it was like it was hollow, I guess, and it was an illusion. That we are subservient. We are not built the same. We are not equal, but yet we still do all the work. I mean, does that sound like something that a narrative that's gone throughout human, recent, or I guess documented human history? The
Yeah.
people who were actually running the show and being made to do all the work and have to control everything and know how everything goes and know how to do everything are also at the same time being told that they're not actually smart enough or capable enough to do those things. It's a hell of a thing. It's a very interesting narrative. That you you're the one doing everything with your own brain power, but you couldn't do it if the man wasn't there to somehow, bless it, I guess. It's you get off your path, you get off the plan if there wasn't a man in the home. They're just basically just sitting there in the chair.
Hmm.
Mm.
Now
So
here's a level that I didn't even know this was going to be a level that I could entertain. But do you feel a a push for you to play a specific role in a relationship? Is it what you bring to it, or is it the expectation from your partner to be something? Does that make sense?
I mean, is I think there's a lot of reasons that I didn't quite come I didn't quite turn out, sort of in any sort of way that society would have expected, in any sort of the ways that I'm supposed to have, or that people wanted me to. I'm kind of the odd one out, and always have been. And so I guess I've just never really felt the pressures of any kind of gender or any kind of identity. I never really had. I guess I was, those roles and those expectations and those norms were pushed onto me, but it was very, very unsuccessful, obviously. And it's just, I guess somehow it just turned out. I guess I got, somehow it was kind of the black sheep, or it's kind of a trite thing to say, but all the norms that I was supposed to adopt, I didn't adopt a single one. And so that kind of carries over, that like I've just never felt that I had to do anything just because of what I looked like or where I was from, or what kind of body parts I had or anything like that. And so it's just I think I'm lucky in a certain way, because I think it makes me a lot more free, and we're a lot
Now,
more free to do whatever we want.
do you feel a societal pressure to be, and I'm going to separate the two words, like the independent side and the submissive side. Is there like a societal push for you to? It's weird because it's like someone makes a choice to do something, but then there's still this societal push to do something that they think
Yeah.
they should be doing, right?
Oh, well, I mean, and I think, there's probably, I mean, nobody gets to escape that 100%. I don't think. I definitely. It's kind of funny. I mean, I think some of the things that get pushed on y'all, maybe I've accepted as what I had to do if I didn't want to do the other, maybe to a certain extent. Like I was supposed to stay at home, so I became badass at my profession. I wasn't supposed to make my own money, so now it's like I make my own money, and like so I guess maybe I've had some of those, like, more I guess what you term as like those masculine expectations. But I
Right.
wasn't supposed to have that. I think I brought that on myself to a certain extent.
Hmm.
I like maybe like somewhere deep inside I had to show them that, like, I really wasn't going to do what they wanted me to do.
Oh wow.
I don't know.
So
Yeah.
wait. Am I hearing this wrong? Am I hearing that the circumstances, or at least the situation that was created around you, that you created, of being like the go-getter with the job and the money and being the independent, did that drive sort of what pocket you're in now? As
I
far
mean,
as, you know what I'm saying? I'm just
yeah.
trying to make sure I say the right thing here, because I don't
Well,
want to be disrespectful or anything.
well, I mean, it's hard to say. It's like what came first, the chicken or the egg? I don't think you can mold, certain parts of my identity. I don't think you can get that. I don't think you can really shape it. I don't think you can,
Gotcha.
I don't think it's like a cake. I don't think you could throw things in and bake it. But, I think there was a sort of push and pull, when I was growing up. I mean, I grew up in a town of 1,200 people, it was very, very obvious that, I stood out, kind of like a sore thumb, to put it lightly. And, I grew up in a very close-knit fundamentalist church, and, there was definitely rules, about what I was supposed to do, what I was supposed to expect out of life. And I think because I knew that I couldn't do that, I wasn't going to do that, I couldn't do it even if I tried, that they were even more forceful in trying to bring me in. So I think I rejected everything they were trying to tell me to do even more so. I think because I knew it wasn't going to happen.
Right.
So I think, what came first was the identity, and the second was like, you're not going to make me do what you want to do, because I'm not that. I can't do it, and so I think that was like basically, there's always been a real angry side to me, real angry side. And it was, I think a part of that, it was anger. It was like, I'm doing what you want me to do, and so it's just like, I mean, if
So
that
what
makes
do
any
you,
sense.
what do you, I got you. I got you. I'm following, or tracking, as defrauding in Varied's perspective said. I'm tracking. I just learned a word. So what is from your perspective, what is your idea of what independence means and what submissive means?
Well, I don't know that I can really say what submissive was. And I think that was always kind of part of it. It was kind of interesting. That was a huge battle in the Southern Baptist Convention when I was in high school, is we were going to amend the beliefs, which was a very short, this is not, when you talk about the Southern Baptist, actual like standardized beliefs, this thing is like 3 pages long. It's not the catechism. It's very, very basic. This is very, very basic. But in 1997 or 8, they amended it to include that a man must be the head of the household and a woman must submit to her husband. And it was a battle royale, that like this one thing that is really very sort of detailed, not a basic belief, right, was going to be included in the 3-page statement of, the Baptist faith and belief. I think I can't even remember now. But faith and message. And the thing was, is I kept asking the women in the church, what does being submissive to your husband mean?
Right.
And they would say like, well, he's a spiritual leader. He's and it's like, but in the reality of it, the women are doing most of the praying. The women are teaching the Sunday school, and the women are singing in the choir. The men get all the like, big leadership positions, but the women are doing most of the work.
Right.
Like, and then it's like, well, he makes the majority of the decisions about the children. Like, no, he doesn't. You do that too. And so really, what does this mean? And really, I think it just became a terminology of like, you can, you basically, it's like an illusion. You just tell him over and over and over again that he's the head of the household because it makes him happy. And that's what, and it makes you feel more Christian, and it makes you feel like you're not being sinful, and it makes you feel like you have a Christian family. And
Yeah,
it's just something you tell yourself over and over and over again.
If
Sorry, I
you,
didn't.
if you noticed, and this is not a knock on what you're saying. I specifically was deviating away from the religious part because that's a whole nother topic I'm going to cover definitely at some point.
Yeah.
Because there is a really huge fold in that with being the word submissive and religious beliefs. So I'm
And,
sorry, continue.
and I'm sorry that I went back into it, but it's just because that is so intrinsically, like, that's what it means to me, because that's just how, I mean, it's like, I guess, like, I always say this thing is like, I'm a Baptist even if when I don't want to be, because it was just so, it was just so much. It's just down in the pit of my soul. Like, I can't see God in any other way than a Baptist. Like, even if I wanted to, and it's like, you go to, there's some Baptist churches in India that have pictures of Jesus, and Jesus is blue, because there's just some, like, cultural things that are just so endemic in you that you can't see it any other way. So when I hear the word, like, submissive woman or submissive wife, I can't tear it away from my Baptist beliefs. I can't do it.
Oh, that means
You
it's
know,
ingrained.
I mean, it's ingrained as hell, and I reject it completely, and I don't expect any woman in my life to be submissive. I was certainly never was going to be submissive, but it's just like, I can't think of it in any other way except the Baptist faith and message, and how we interpret that one verse in the Bible. I just can't see it any other way.
Now for me, I usually say I'm Baptist by default. That's usually my answer when people ask, because that's what I was brought up in. I didn't choose it.
Yeah, I didn't
I
choose it
was a
either.
kid. I was a kid in church with the 3-piece suit, trying to fall asleep on my mom's arm because she just would take me there, and I had no say so. I had to put on my
Yeah,
Sunday's best and look, we're going to church. Don't ask questions, okay? And
we there were times in my life, periods, years. We were in church every day. We were there for something every day.
wow.
We did all the cleaning, the bereavement committee, the hospitality committee, the nominating committee. I was on the search committee for the pastor twice. I was in the choir. I taught the children's choir. I taught the children's Sunday school. Was in the vacation Bible school. Taught vacation Bible school. Everything I did. I just, the only things I didn't do was being a deacon, teaching men in Sunday school because we weren't allowed to do that, or be the pastor. I did everything else. So did my
Wow.
mother. And it's like, and so when I hear submissive, it's just like, all I could think about is a Baptist woman. That's it.
Now,
That's
to
it.
be honest, as a disclaimer, that's part of the reason why I put it in the title, because I know it stirs things up in people. I know it does.
Yeah,
Because it did for me as well until I learned what it actually means outside of any kind of religious translation of what it should mean. Like I had to remove myself as much as I could to understand it for myself. Now I can accept what people tell me what it is, but that's the same reason why I walk away from like certain things that someone may like the word simp. Like again, that word, I know it triggers you as well, Stephanie. But that's what I'm saying. It's I could accept what you give me, or I could find out what it means, or at least the true meaning of it, and accept that. So I had to sort of redefine a lot of things that I think about now because of the way I was brought up. I don't
yeah,
necessarily want to do the same thing now as a
right.
parent. I don't want to do that because I know it took me a while to come up out of certain things mentally. And yeah, that word submissive definitely carries a negative connotation to most that are into in the biblical sense of what it means. And they interpret it as shut the hell up. When he says shut up, do what he says, give him his food, feed him. I mean, these are, it's in there. It's just, again, you can interpret it a different way, slightly different, but
Yeah,
it's in there. Um, but that doesn't mean because it's in there that it has to be you. Now, people tie that, damn it, I'm going on religion again. People tie that to the level of being a Christian, right? They tie it
right.
to how great of a
Absolutely.
Christian I am by how
Oh,
close I
absolutely.
hold to the letter. That's how good
Mhm.
I am. But at the
Yep.
same time, you may be challenging your own beliefs. your own ideology, your own feeling of self-worth, and your own idea of what submissive means to you. That's the conversation I'm trying to have here. I appreciate you giving me your side of things. You have something else?
Well, yeah, and I was going to say that's interesting because it just occurred to me now. It's like when you were saying, what people think it is, shut up when he says shut up and feed him, and all those sort of actionable things. For me, the reason it became so important that they actually amended our, 3-page thing of what we believe in. It's like it became so important because it was about how a woman's supposed to view herself. It really wasn't about anything that was actually happening in the home or what they were doing or what the man was doing and what she was doing. It was like, it's more about how you need to understand from the moment you are born to the day you die, you have a uterus and all the accompanying things, and God has put you under man, and you need to think of yourself as such.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. And
I kicked against that like the ox against the goats. I kicked against that like, not me, not today.
Well, you just dropped another nugget. You just said being under a man. That's a whole nother level too.
Yeah. Because I mean, I don't think it was a surprise to anybody that wasn't going to happen. But it was all just a process of admitting it. I don't think anybody was shocked. It's just like, is she actually gonna admit it and go be a demon? Or is she gonna, do what she's supposed to do and push it all the way down? So, yeah.
Wow.
That was a push and a pull in the whole community. It's like, are we gonna be able to drive this demon out, literally, or is she gonna go be rebellious? Well,
yeah,
I guess
that's. I mean, I'm going to speak honestly. That scares me.
Yeah, it's scary as all get out. Yeah.
I can't fathom anything in my mind that I would turn my back on my child for because I disagree. But I've seen it. I've seen it, and it was ugly because of a belief. Now, I'm not saying their convictions are a bad thing. I'm saying it could be dangerous if you're not paying attention and just blindly, wholeheartedly take it for face value and just move forward. Like there has to be a human element in there. Please. Yeah. So, that's my take on it. I'm sorry if I'm disrespecting anybody's beliefs. I don't mean to. But.
No, and of course, yeah. It was just a very interesting thing. It was like, it is always repulsive to me that I had to somehow think that, I couldn't teach the boys Sunday school, although, I knew the Bible better than everybody else, and I couldn't do such and such, even though, like, I knew better. I could argue with them till the cows came home, and they respected me, and I got to pick the pastor twice. I'm not kidding about that, but at the same time, they're also looking at me going, there's a demon over there. There's a demon right on her shoulder. So go figure that one out. People are weird. Everything we do doesn't make any sense. We don't make any sense. I mean, this is all just a ball of nonsense. That's it. That's it. But
you have your battle scars.
It's interesting. Yeah, someday I'll tell you the story of how, when Ellen DeGeneres came out on TV, it was the end of the world, and I had to back them off that,
oh man, the world was going to end.
Anyway, well, it's like, they're starving people. That's probably actually a greater evil than Ellen DeGeneres being on TV.
Yeah, they were hungry before and after she came out.
Yeah. So anyway, I took up too much of y'all's time. Anyway, I think my phone's gonna die. So
I appreciate your stance. I thank you.
Yeah, and I'm glad to have finally caught one of your lives. So I'll keep checking back for sure.
Yes. I plan on going deeper and deeper until somebody tells me I went too far.
Yeah, well, YouTube will pull your card, or somebody in the manosphere will, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody's not gonna like what I'm doing, but that's okay. But I appreciate you. Thank you, Steph.
All right, bye.
All right. I think Mr. Perspective, no, not varied. He's off. Defrauding still there? I see you there. I don't know if you if you mute. I think you muted yourself. So Mike won't unmute. Let me see. Every time I try to unmute you, it says can't unmute your guest. Their mic isn't connected. So I don't know why you can't unmute. I'm trying. You might have to go out and come back in. That would probably be the easiest. So yeah, thank you, Stephanie, again. That was definitely a perspective that I don't have, and she's obviously she does what she wants, and I'm here to listen. So back to topic. We're talking about that space where independence and submissiveness exist. And I think I said it earlier that I think they can coexist, but I do not believe that independence should play a major role if we are talking about relationships. And I have to keep putting that on there because that's putting it in the right context. I don't want to say the blanket statement that independence doesn't mean anything in a relationship. No, or it doesn't help in any relationship. You must have your level of independence. I do believe that. You must have your level of independence, but it should not be the driving force if you're talking about a union. Now, that to me doesn't make sense. You can rock out, be yourself, as long as it doesn't counteract or contradict any relationship that you're trying to build. Otherwise, there's going to have to be some compromises that you don't want to make if that's the case. So that's my piece on that. We are now at an hour and a half. I do have some closing thoughts. Usually I like to stay under 2 hours. It's just an easier pill to swallow if someone's watching it on the replay. If they see 8 hours, they might. Nah, I'm not doing that. So I'm trying to like pack it full of information and different perspectives as well. So let me actually go back to the chat before I have my final thoughts, my closing thoughts. So let me check the chat, see who's in here. See KK de jour is still here. Too big. What's up, man? What's good? Hey, where's your wife, man? I know she usually chimes in. I know she's around somewhere. All right, I think the frauding's back. Welcome back.
Yo, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, you're not hearing an echo, are you?
No.
Okay, just making sure. I was playing you through the car now. I was on my way over to the gym real quick to get this training in.
Man,
But,
you really trying to squeeze this live in your life. I love it.
I be missing it all the time. Like normally in the afternoon, it's my little busy time for when I get off work, I start working out, do what I gotta do, go home, watch my son for a minute, and then normally you guys used to get on at like 9 or 10 o'clock my time, and then like 9 or 10 o'clock, I ain't doing nothing but doing my homework and listening to you guys in the background. Kind of like how I'm working out while you guys are still in my background.
Yeah, look, man, you know me, man. I appreciate you just trying to even hang in there with me. So yeah, I was mentioning that I shoot for an hour and a half, 2 hours. I think we had a really great build, even though we had at least 4 perspectives on the panel. And a couple things going on in the chat. I tried to highlight as much as I could. So did you have anything to say as far as what Stephanie brought to the table?
Oh, she brought the religion aspect to the table, and I thought that was really interesting because as soon as I heard it, I was like, man, I wanted to chime in, but at the same time, I was very careful with that anyway because like whole wars are fought over this religion thing and like what you believe in, what God you believe in, and what your views are. You can believe in the same God and still go to war with the same people just based off of how you view different parts of the Bible or the Quran or different parts of the Yom Kippur. Like depending on what you believe in or the Torah, depending on what you believe in, there's different, things that come with it. And I'm one of those people where I'm kind of hard on religion, man. At one point in time, I grew up in a Christian household where the religion kept changing. At one point in time, we were growing up Baptist, right? And then when the Black Power thing became real strong and prominent in the household around about when I was 5 or 6, it became, we were doing the Hebrew Israelite thing. And then from the Hebrew Israelite, we was doing the kind of non-denominational Christian thing because my dad became more and more savvy about what the history is and what the word means. And then with me
Right.
going to a Christian school, I went to a Catholic school, then I went to a Lutheran school. So I got two different views on religion that come from the same thing. Like Lutheran religion comes from the Catholic religion. They branched away from it, right? Inside of this Lutheran school, I had world religion class, and world religion class taught me them all, every single religion. And then you were able to find out what they believe in, what their gods are. And in most of these religions, just my personal opinion on how religion works, religion was used to control the king at the time. In any society, it was used how much power the king actually had, like the actual real king, the one that was over the entire kingdom. It controlled how much power he had, what he could do and what he couldn't do. And what happened was is the church was getting so strong and so powerful that certain kings said, "Oh hell no, nah, we got to get them up out of here," and they did their own thing. And if I'm not mistaken, they told me this is what happened with King James. That King James was to the point as to where he wanted to marry his brother's sister, right? While his brother
Mm.
had recently died. What happened was is that that was something that you're not supposed to be able to do. Church told him you can't do that. Then he said, fuck the church. They're gone. And he did his own thing. And it was one of those cases where it was like with religion, I've noticed that every time religion went coincided with subjugating people and their mind through hope, aspiration, keep your spirits up. You might live in hell here on earth, but when you die, you'll go to heaven and you'll have this great place where you can be at. And you'll have riches beyond your wildest imagination. This is what people were told. But meanwhile, everybody else, but the king and the royal family and the people with the royal names, they were living in squalor. They were living in disease-ridden areas, areas where people were being killed left and right. People were, I hate to say it, but I'm not gonna say the R word, but we all know what was happening constantly. So
Yes.
that was one of those things, and the realities of the commoner. That was throughout every single society. If you were not the king, it wasn't like you were living the lap of luxury. But we always had to tell you that when you go to heaven, you'll get all those things that you missed out on here in life. And I noticed that with religion, it also empowered a man and gave a man the ability to, you may not be a king of this nation. You may not be a knight or a course guard. You may not be a warrior. You may not be any of these things. But what you can be is you can be king of your own castle, which is your household. In here, God has ordained you and given you the right to be the unbridled leader. You can do whatever you want here inside of your own household, just as whatever king of your nation is. And that it seems to be one of the things that I noticed with religion. And I know that that's going to be an unpopular opinion, but that is kind of like what I saw when I was going to school. And again, I used to be like really big into Christianity. Then I got really big into the Hebrew Israelite thing, got really big into finding out what the history is. And I have friends that know way more about it than me in the Hebrew Israelite idea. But later on, after I just started learning more and more of the history, seeing how religion was used, it kind of reminded me of the book of Eli, like when Denzel Washington had that Bible that was written in Braille. And the man said that this has the ability to control people and control nations. And that is pretty much how I saw it in history. I saw religion used as a way to control people, a way to keep people in check, keep them in line, make sure that they do a certain thing, and make sure that they obey not only God, but they obey the law of the land. They obey whatever the king is or whatever the higher entities are within that society. And they put these little things in the Bible all throughout the Bible. There's these little things where they tell you these contradicting statements like lay down your weapons. And then they tell you in the very next verse, pick up your weapons and fight, kill every man, woman, and child. like, like, and it kind of reminds you of the time it was written in. At one point in time, they tell you it's not okay to kill people in town. You shouldn't kill that guy. That's wrong. But then in the next verse, if the king so tells you to do it, it's right, it's justified. Whole crusades was fought that way. They told those men that they were fighting for God and that they were spreading Christianity to other nations and that they would be rewarded because they're doing God's work. So they sewed a bunch of crosses onto all of these guys' armor and all of their the tunics that's over their armor. They sewn it in there and told them, you go and kill those Turks and go kill all those brown and black people and tell them that their religion should be Christianity and we will widespread this. And I just found it to be interesting that that is the way it worked. And how is it that that can be true and you're committing murder? That is one of the 10 commandments, is it not? And thou shalt not kill. Yet they were doing it constantly in order to spread God's word. And then how does that match when the New Testament changes what the Old Testament was talking about? The New Testament, Christ said, I am the way, and that at this particular point in time, man can be forgiven for his sins and everything else like that, and he was a man of peace. Nowhere in the Bible did it say with the incarnation of Jesus Christ that you should go around killing people and spreading the word of the Lord through the sword. He actually told them in the garden to put down the sword and he healed a man's ear, right? So again, contradiction. That's what made it hard for me. And that's why, like right now, I would say as far as faith goes, we were lost on that one. Not exactly sure where I fit in anymore as far as religion goes.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, do you see how just one aspect of this conversation can go pretty deep? And I love the fact that defrauding went the level that he did because I want to go there. I don't have another 2 hours to do it right now, but I definitely want to go there because we have to talk about that part of it. We have to, as a people. And I'm not even just talking about just people of color, just in general. And funny thing, once we started talking religion, Muslim popped up. So I'm just saying, yeah, his spidey senses started tingling too. But yeah, I love that moment that I had of I call it clarity, where I went against the grain and said and asked the question, why am I not allowed to ask the question? Because I was taught to never ask. Never, ever ask. You're not supposed to ask. But no one told me why not. And it fueled me to really, I mean, I waited till I was in my 30s to even do it because I was actually fearful. I was literally like fearful of my life. Like, oh my God, I'm going to be, struck down. I'm going to be, yeah, I had a part of my life where I followed it to that point where, wait a minute, something's not making sense. If I was given this brain by a specific God, I'm not going to say who, what, when, or how, but if I was given a brain to think, why am I going to not use it to think and rationalize and just understand why is that taboo? When I learned that part of that is the manipulation part of it, now I'm questioning everything. Like, wait a minute. Now I'm wondering, what's your angle? Now I'm wondering what do you gain or benefit from this? And I'm speaking as like individuals who are trying to convince me that this is the right way to do. I'm not saying it is or it's not. I'm saying now I'm looking at it different. I can hear your perspective, but I don't necessarily have to follow it nor believe it if I don't want to. But I'm going to give a little tidbit right now. I'm going to give a little bit of a peek into history, into the future. One of my topics, I do have a title. I'm going to tell you what it's going to be right now. Why is math more universal than God? And I want to do that one when I feel like I'm comfortable enough to hold that conversation. I've been thinking about this for a long time. Because you can have so many different aspects of what God is, who God is, where God is, what he does, what he's done. Is he a man? Is he a woman? You can have all these different things of an aspect of what God means to you. But when I say 3 + 3 is 6, nobody's challenging me on that, regardless of what God they believe in. So that's where I started questioning, why is math more universal? How did that happen? Was that God's plan? So that one's a deep one, I think. I mean, that one's as deep as I can go as far as the questions I've had in my life growing up, and I still want to have that conversation, but I have my ideas. I'd love for someone to just shoot them down if they're wrong. That's fine. That's okay. We can build. So that's in the future sometime. Hopefully you'll be on that. Hopefully you're on that defrauding, because it sounds like you have a lot to say about that.
Oh yeah, math man. I was like I told you, I think one time on text, I was never really good at math at one point in time. I was really terrible at it. I thought I could never be good at math because I was given a lot of old information from teachers. Like if you are really good at writing and really good at public speaking and things like that, that you'll probably never be good at math. And that teaching was incorrect. That's not right at all. And a lot of people are probably, even in this chat, have probably heard that before, that there's different kinds of ways of thinking and different levels in which you can be intelligent, and you can only be so intelligent in one particular field or one particular avenue if you're heavily gifted in another. And science has advanced beyond that. Psychology has explained that there's more synapses in the brain than what there are galaxies in the solar system, if you get what I mean. So if that being the case, you can always learn new things and you make new pathways and new connections between things. What you do is you take the things that you know and you apply those things that you know to the things that you're trying to learn. Then afterwards, you take those things that you've just now learned and you teach it to other people. And this helps it stay within your memory. So when I took my first math class in college, that opened my mind. It was an algebra class of everyday life, is what they called it. And this particular class, it was basically like a 118 class. But the idea is that it taught you about annual interest. It taught you about budgeting, saving, and stuff like that, right? But one of the things you also learned was about the universal logic of math. So I guess in the next conversation, when we come on there, if I'm on there with you that day, which I will try to be, I'll talk about phi, and the spiral and the golden ratio and different things like that that exist within the universe of natural math, and how everything goes on a spiral. Everything in life is actually set on a mathematical spiral, and they call it the golden rule, and it's also called phi. And somebody like Shakim Ra, who believes in the Egyptology stuff and talks about math from the Egyptian perspective, I'm pretty sure he's heard that term before, at least he should have. So the idea is that that's one of those things that can be talked about on the very next show, if I'm on it, which I plan to be. You have a schedule, so I'll be there.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure a schedule. I don't know. 4 or 5 o'clock my time actually seems to work. It's a little bit of a break in between my day of responsibility. So, yeah, and I'm not going to hold tight to this time slot 100% because it may move. Hell, it moved from 4 to 5 in just 2-3 episodes. So depends on what's going on. But I want to get a good flow as well, because I don't want to be creating lives just for the sake of creating lives. If that makes sense.
As long as I know the day before, I'll make arrangements to make it there. As long as I know the day before.
Appreciate that, man. Your perspective is definitely valued here, man. I probably can't go as deep as you can on the religious side of things, but the math side, I am that you're speaking my language. As you said, sometimes it's someone's telling you're not going to be good at that. I was told that too.
Yeah,
I was not acing math tests up until like 7th, 8th grade. And I did not get that light bulb did not go off until I realized for myself that I'm only as good as I want to be in this, because I applied myself a little different. See, and again, I don't know. I think I was a little weird kid though, just trying different things out, and just thinking about it now, I'm like, man, I was really, I was weird. I'll give I'll give whoever thought that back then. Yeah, I'll give you that one. But I did not accept someone telling me what my limitation was. I was actually more bothered when someone told me, when I was mentioning colleges and all these different things, and I was only in like 8th grade, and I was already talking about what college I want to go to, and one of my teachers actually mentioned, like, no, that's not where you're going to go. I'm like, what the hell was that? Like, am I not supposed to be there? Is that, I didn't know how to take that, but the way I took it was, you're not supposed to be there. And that was enough of a drive for me to literally overnight turn around every piece of math I touched ever since then. So every science class, every math class, every physics class, every calculus class, I was in the top 2 or 3. Easy. Because I decided I'm not accepting that. And I didn't realize how much power that was. I had no clue how much power that was. Just to drive the narrative the way I did, I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue. It just felt right. And that's another part of what I want to do outside of the wanted, this whole voice within the organized chaos. I also want to be part of the movement as far as just bringing sciences, and you're going to see more things pop up for me with videos of science stuff and this and that, because it's fascinating to me. And I wish I learned about it earlier than I did, because I'm a late bloomer. I'm a late bloomer in the technology world. So I didn't get my first computer till I was 25. So I had a lot of catching up to do. Now, I can't tell you what I do for a living now, but trust me, it's not. I spent a lot of late nights trying to make sure I honed my skills to be what I am now, and create the way I create and think the way I think. And there was a lot of late nights just trying to go against the grain. And, because a lot of people kept saying, you're not supposed to make it. You're not supposed to be this, that, and the other. So I know this is deviating off the topic, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize, but we were building there. We had a barbershop moment. Sorry about that. So let me close out the topic then, and then we can just randomly do whatever we want to do at that point. And if you can hang on, great. I'd appreciate it, Friday. So my final thought for the topic of the day. So independence, the word independence, it's a great responsibility that comes with battle wounds of strife. There's nothing about independence that says it's easy to attain, right? And I don't want to take away from that word. It's a great thing for anyone to be standing on a level of independence, right? I mean, as a people, we're trying to do that now, right? Isn't that the goal? To not depend on others to get what we need. Like, we want to be a level of independence in our brown world, for some of us, and submissiveness. That can carry a great amount of negative connotation. We all understand that, but in its essence, it is the greatest form of trust one can offer to their mate. To be submissive, to be that young lady who, when pregnant, not saying you can't fight for yourself, but understand, if you fight for yourself, you may run the risk of harming that child, which is why that is one of the most vulnerable positions a woman could be in my opinion. Let me know if I'm wrong, ladies. And for a man to step up and be that level of protection, that is a level of trust that you have to offer, saying, I trust you to hold things down while I have this, protect this child, with my body, make sure I'm eating, make sure I'm sleeping, but when the baby comes, Obviously, the level of protecting that child in the belly is different now because now it's a different level of protection for the woman. So what I'm saying is the roles will shift, move around, up, down. Somebody's submissive one day, next day it could change. That's why I don't like when it's just labeled on women. I don't like the idea that when people say submissive, well, actually for men it's simp, right? Right, defrauding. That's usually the
Right.
word. That's the male version of being submissive to a woman.
Yep. You simple.
Yeah, but as a partnership, relationship in itself, it is dependence. You are depending on someone to take your heart and protect it, man or woman. Either way you look at it, there's a level of dependence. So there is room for independence. But once you're talking relationship and partnership, I don't see why the focus would not be union, a union coming together. I hold you down, you hold me down. There may be times where that man ain't working, but his lady's holding it down, and then vice versa. Hey, look, if I'm up, we up. So if I'm down, does that mean that you're working and I don't eat? Like that doesn't make sense. So
Right.
that's why I feel like the union part, in my opinion, should be the focus, and independence can exist within that. So I will leave this question on the table. Do your expectations in a relationship match the requirements of that relationship? What are your expectations? What are your requirements? Do they match? If they don't, you might have to have some conversations, some deep ones. For the gentleman, if you require a loving, caring, trusting woman that caters to her man, don't expect to not cultivate those attributes by providing a safe environment for her to operate. You have something to do with her being submissive. It ain't just her showing up at the door with a steak and egg sandwich saying, "Here you go, baby." No. It ain't that simple. It ain't ever that simple. And if it is, honestly, I would question that if it was that simple. I'm not even gonna lie. But yeah. So definitely, you have something to do with that. Make her want to submit to you, and I'm saying it in a good sense. Cater to you, want to do things for you. How do you do that? That's between you two, but understand you have a level of responsibility in that. It's not just her bringing it to the table. Now, for the ladies, if you require a hardworking man with a never quit attitude towards success to provide and protect at all costs, don't expect a passive, sensitive man who's in touch with his feelings to show up every time you need a soft landing. There's a balance here, people. I say that because it is a tough balance. And if you find a guy that knows that balance, you better hold on to him tight. Now, hopefully he's not crazy in any other, parts of the relationship, hopefully he's not, but that is a really hard balance. You got society telling you to be a man by, doing ABC. You got your relationship telling you or dictating to you how to be a man. You got, if you have children, now you're going to be an example to someone watching you how you're going to be a man in a relationship. This goes for the women as well. It's not just you making the decision. There's a lot of people watching, and there's a lot of people affected by the decisions that you make. If it's a union, come together, talk about it, submit in a positive way. Submit. So that's all I got. Defrauding, do you have anything to close out the topic?
Yeah. Get on your Cash App, $FDMG. At me FDMG.
Well, here we spell FDMG as identity withheld. $ identity withheld. $ identity withheld.
Gifts, donations.
Do you have a Cash App?
I do, but man, I changed the name of it and whatnot. I don't know, man.
Okay. Yeah, I suggest next time you rocking the way you rock, man, definitely have it on deck because you definitely bring something to the table. I'm not holding it down by myself here. You definitely you're bringing that fire, dude, and I'm trying to vibe off of it because, I could probably go through my slides in 10 minutes. So I'm trying to make sure I'm giving the people a little more than just me. Yeah. So I apologize. Someone's in the back. I think the spidey senses are definitely tingling. What do you got to say there, Sister Star?
Oh my God. Look like you were the fraud and held it down.
Yeah, you didn't show up for work.
I apologize. You know what? We tell you what. When the next time you gonna do a show?
Maybe Thursday.
Oh, I can't be there. It's gonna be every Thursday.
I'm still figuring that out, Star. I'm literally figuring that out. It might
Okay.
move, might not, but right now it seems like a good pocket where no one's
I
looking
can
for.
promise you Wednesday if you want to do one Wednesday. But it's your show. It's your show.
I know people love to see us argue. I know they love it.
We gotta do it for the sector identity.
All right, defrauding. Can you say something misogynistic, please?
Oh man, I'm really rocking with that guy, Big Man, these days.
Okay.
Right now, I'm playing.
I love big man. That's not misogynistic. I cannot argue with.
You're the only one letting big man up. I mean, you
No, I agree. No, I told Big Man I was gonna put him in the timeout, because of what happened with Max. So
Right.
yeah, I told him, I said, we'll wait till the sector adjusts to Big Man or whatever comes first, or if he can adjust to us. So
It
I'll
seems like
wait.
somebody's picked every other week, maybe 2 weeks. It's like somebody chose at random, and then the next thing you know, you get the sound bites, you get the jokes going, and then man, we gotta get this guy out the sector, and it's like, damn, man, every 2 weeks somebody new. Who's it gonna be this week?
Well, hey, just to let you guys know, I am sponsoring a new show. It's similar to that show Robin Big. I'm going to call it Alan Big. So be on the lookout for that. You already know what the content's going to be.
Are you referring to me?
No.
Welcome to the show, Star.
Yeah, welcome to the show, Star. Guys, we've only been here 5 minutes.
I just got off work. Like I really did Nova tell you that I had to push this? Because I told you 6:15. But my clients, they get a little
Look at that. First day on the job, and you got a black man's excuse. God damn.
Actually, this is my second day. It's my second day. Excuse you.
Wait, I don't count the interview day. I don't count that.
Oh, you don't count that? Oh, okay. My bad.
No, I appreciate you just taking the time. I know this is anybody on the East Coast. I know they're either coming home from work or whatever else, but
I'm trying to
my lucky ass, I get to work from home, so I'm always home.
Yeah,
I'm not sitting in
I'm
traffic.
still at the practice.
Are you still there?
Hey,
Yeah, I did it for you. I stayed here for you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, y'all people binary code said.
I actually don't. I can't. If I try to read the chats while I'm on my device, it's gonna go downhill. So I'm not.
Funny thing he said, this show just went downhill.
Oh, that's crazy. We still connected. Even though he snook fired me.
Oh yeah, binary. The rumor has it that you got rid of all of us in the hopes that Star would just go her separate way.
He fired me. He can't be mad enough. He can't be mad enough to tell me, Star, I just want to go in a different direction. I appreciate you.
He couldn't face you. He couldn't face
He
you.
couldn't face me. He didn't, because his misogynistic fuck ways could not face the greatness that is the Star.
I think you're the first to actually drop the F word on this show. Today, at least.
You
Today,
know
at
what?
least.
I didn't. I apologize. I'm gonna just stop doing that.
No, it's all right. This is a
It's
grown,
okay to do
grown
that.
folks show. It's all right.
Okay.
We were just building. That's all. We were just building. You brought it all down. It's all good.
I brought it down. Hey, I did it. Do you want me to leave? I will leave.
You do what you want to do.
I do what I want to do. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and I just wanted to show up and just tell. Oh, hell to the no!
I just wanted to do something real misogynistic.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me turn off this banner. Hold on. Sorry.
Hold on.
There you go. There you go.
Goodness. Just
blink twice, Mrs. Truth. Blink
What's
twice,
going on?
Miss Truth.
I had to do. It was just laid out. I had to do something. But just saying hello to everybody.
Hello, unadulterated. How
All
you doing?
Peace. Look at that. You bringing all the misogyny out. Look at that.
All the misogyny. It's coming. It's coming. That's what Stargate do.
I'm starting to see a theme here, stuff. I don't know what it is, but and for those who don't know, I actually mess with Star on the comments because every time I comment on like a response to you, I always spell misogyny with an M-I-S-S.
With the M-I-S. I was on to you.
Yeah, when I realized I was doing it, I'm like, yo, she's not gonna like this, but I love it.
I love it. Listen, listen. If I give it, I don't mind taking it back. So.
But yeah. I'm sorry, defraud.
Hey, you know the most misogynistic joke I ever heard, and I'm gonna have to leave on this one. It's probably a bad note. So, a guy in my unit, my very first day working there, at this particular base, I walk up to him and I was talking to him for a minute. He was my mentor, and the guy told me, "Hey, man, do you know why women's feet are so small?" And I was like, "No, I don't." And then he was like, "Easy. It's so they can stand closer to the stove." And he said, "My name is so and so." The most
defrauding. You're gonna have to introduce me to this gentleman. So.
Damn.
I would like to see this gentleman. I want to come shake his hand.
Hey, Star, I think that guy sounds like an abuser. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Somebody need to blink twice.
I love it.
I can't give up his address. People in this sector seem to pull up on people at their house.
Absolutely. I want to shake his hand, defraud in Charlotte. I want to shake his hand.
Yeah,
It's only a matter of time somebody gonna see my checkerboard bathroom. I'll give it a few months. What's up, binary code?
Ooh. Can he come up?
Yeah, he can come up. It's there. Wait.
Is he? Drop the link for him so I can cuss him out. Binary code. Get up here so I can cuss
he's
you
still
out
writing his paper, right?
for sneak firing me. Defrauding charlatan is just a sweet person. Have you ever been on anybody's other panels or talking?
I was on a secret panel one time. It was a secret panel that came up. It was a meeting. So like they was talking about how they was gonna start paying people and giving out the cash apps and shit. So I was like, oh, okay, no problem. I'll jump in on that. And then they told me like who the enemies are and shit like that, you know. And you know, I'm here to infiltrate the sector as one of the Trumans, you know. I heard that shit the other day. You know, they're talking about the Truman Show. Like, there's actors and entertainers in this bitch. So I'm one of them.
Yep.
You know, I'm trying to get some money.
Okay.
I was on somebody else's show at one point in time, but it was like, you know, a close-knit family type show. It was pretty cool though. It was chill. When nobody
That's
getting
awesome.
nobody was trying to, you know, do nothing crazy. It's cool.
Yeah, I think we rocked for the first time on Max's, right? I think that was the first time.
No, I don't think I ever been on
Was it
Max's show.
I know we talked somewhere.
I don't think Max messed with me too heavy like that. I don't know, man.
Oh, my bad. Did I bring up bad trauma there? Oh, my bad.
No, not at all. Not at all. I just don't think you rock with me like that.
Who sent you, defrauding? Who sent you?
Right. He might have heard
He's such
about
a
what my
sweet guy.
career is and what kind of school I go to and what I'm doing in school. And he was like, "Hey, wait a minute. That's one of them right there. Who sent you?" So
Yeah, Max, he has to be careful these days.
right.
So, I don't blame him. But yeah, I appreciate you just even rocking out this long, man. I know, man, you've been on a bike, you've been in and out of buildings. I think you were shopping at one point. I don't know what you were doing, man. Like, damn, he really holding me down on this one. I love it.
Yeah, I was about to walk into the gym now, and then she just had hit me up with one more question, like, "Have you ever been on the show?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll answer that one."
Yeah. I don't want to hold you, man. I held you long enough, man. I appreciate you rocking. If you
The
want to come back,
star gonna
it's
take over
open.
now.
Oh God. Oh God. Pray for me.
Unless you tired, you gotta go.
Oh my God. So ain't you at work?
Onk, if you're listening, I'm a free agent. I'm willing to get paid. Who you want me to attack? We can do it tomorrow. I got an exposed video coming out. The album, he's an alien. You heard Jesus Christ was blue today from somebody. Seth Collins told you that. So album blue. We talk about he's wearing peach face or whatever the hell it's called. So everybody check it out. I got a show coming up. It's exposed. I'm exposing people tomorrow now. Binary Code video tonight coming out at 9 o'clock. If y'all want to see Binary exposed, I got one for him too.
Oh yeah, that's what we talking about.
I want to be on that. Please let me be on that.
That's what I want.
Please.
That's what I want. Let me find out Miss Cole is really black.
I'm gonna need good guy help to do the expose video. How we doing it? We got music going on with it. No, that's be accountable. Help me out with the music. I want to do one of them kind of videos. So I'm exposed. Ain't nobody did that
yet. But yeah, you hold it down, man. I appreciate you, man. You're always welcome here, man.
All right, man. No problem. Good rocking out with y'all.
It's good talking to you.
Yeah. You have a good night, man.
Y'all too.
All right.
Peace. Yeah. So you gotta work, don't you, Stone?
I'm off. I was just I was able to
ain't no rub for grubs right now.
No. That's it for today. I'm done for today. I just I wanted to really make your show. I had Nova was there when I said Nova, tell Identity I'll be a little late again.
Well, this ain't the Binary Show. I don't have anybody reading the chats for me. I got to do it myself. So yeah, I'm not gonna get to all of them. I'm trying to highlight and I'm trying to read and listen and yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's how it's easy to just get caught up and get lost.
Yeah, and I actually had structure today. I actually had some notes. I went through all my notes. I'm trying to, bring to the table at least some level of what we were doing with Binary.
Absolutely.
I don't have theme songs and all that yet, but it's coming.
Me neither.
It's coming.
Me neither.
Transitions and I'm not there yet, but it's coming. I'm not gonna call it Sector Wars. I don't know. I don't know what I'd call it, but yeah.
Absolutely. I think it'll come to you. Basically, you just gotta let it come to you.
Yeah. But we got through most of the day without talking about the sector. It was like it was a good bill. It was a good bill.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so definitely watch the replay because
I will. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch the replay just to, I guess, participate in this show.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Unless you got questions. I actually was. I think I was there 5 minutes. I was there. I said, okay, his show is on. Let me get in here and tell him I'm gonna be a little bit later. And I put it in the chat room, and I had to dip out. So I don't even know what I said. That's the fraud and charlatans. And I wanted to get up and say hello, but I didn't even have time to do that. So I had to hurry up and get to my last rub for grub. So.
I appreciate you just joining though.
Absolutely. So
you come on too late for me though, right? I can't get you be hitting like 2 in the morning.
I just appreciate you tapping in when you can. Like I appreciate that because I know you actually have to chill out because everybody else is chill
I'm being
at
respectful.
That time. Absolutely. And I get, you know what? And I respect that. I respect, I respect that. So yeah.
Yeah, and then if you didn't listen to the start, was it your last live with Mikey? Was that the last live?
Yeah, that with Mikey and Poetic Flacco got
Oh
caught
my
snoring.
God, that was hilarious. I listened to that 3 times already. I swear to you. I was laughing at my own jokes, but at the same time, just the conversation alone with Mikey was priceless.
Absolutely.
I feel like
I'm telling
somebody needs to do something with that
he
because he's
has
on every panel and he does that every time.
I'm telling you, Mike has something there. I don't know
Man,
what
what
it
the hell am I
is.
talking about? I got my own show. I can do it my damn self. Look at that.
Yeah, go ahead,
I slipped
identity.
for a little bit. I slipped for a little bit. My bad. I'm back. I'm back.
Welcome to your own show, identity. Got you back. Got you back.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It stings a little, but that's okay.
Hey,
It's
it's
okay.
good to get back.
I know.
Stars getting her
I deserve
redemption.
it. I deserve it. It's cool. But yeah, I swear that was one of the best times I had on YouTube because it was the moment and it was so random it was on time. If that
Right,
makes any sense.
exactly. And that's exactly what happens on these shows. It's so random, but then everything falls into place, and that's the beauty. And I think that's what makes it addicting. And I guess in the long run, those you live for those moments where
Yeah.
else could this happen, or where else could this conversation go down?
Well, Binary is not a fan of the show. He said the show is whack.
Oh wait, hold on, let me see. Did you highlight it? Hold on.
Yes.
Oh, you know what? Fuck you, bitch code. He sneak firing people and shit.
Careful, Star. You didn't get the pink slip yet. Damn.
He working on it. He working on it. He acting like he taking time off. This has been his plan all along. He's like, yo, Star. No, I don't think he fired you. I think he's trying to revamp the show where I'm gonna move along.
Hey, let's be honest, Star. You feel like there's some things going on in the background without you.
It's always
Trust me,
shit
I'm
going
in the
on.
dark with you. I'm right there, like, yo, what the
Okay.
hell happened? Who turned the lights out?
Who turned them lights out? I'm still here. Excuse
Somebody
me.
call Unc because the lights just went out. What the hell, man?
Oh my God.
Somebody call Unc, man. I ain't got the funds. No, I really do
Oh,
feel like we between you, me, and Binary and the vibe we had over there, and I know Max comes in and out every now and again, but
right.
I don't see it on these YouTube streets. I don't see it.
Exactly.
I do
Exactly.
not see it. I don't care if people don't think laughing is should be part of the show. Well, too bad, buddy.
Exactly. Why is she laughing all the time?
Right? Who says that shit? Like, you laugh too much. What?
Oh my God. I tried
What
this
the
show, but
hell?
she started laughing too much. I'm out.
Now, when you get on that misogynistic run, yeah, I got to bail. I ain't even gonna
Gotta
hold
be
you.
out.
I'm
Yeah.
like, God darn, she on it again.
That's why I said I didn't want to fight anymore. So I'm willing to just stop. I bring it up for the people who really, really, really deserve it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we did talk relationship. We did talk. And did you see the title?
I know.
Oh, you didn't.
Remember, I remember looking at the.
Yeah. So I'll let you chime in on the topic since you didn't get a chance to. But
Sure.
the topic is, can an independent woman be submissive?
Ooh.
And
See, I said
I
this.
thought you would probably go on for hours on that one. So I was
I
like, all right, if
won't.
you want to join,
I'm
that's
gonna give
cool.
you a quick minute on just a rundown.
Cool.
From my experience, it's hard to switch when you've been independent for so long. And then when I gave somebody an opportunity to be the head of household, I was like, quote unquote, had my running shoes under the bed, basically. Okay, if you can't do, and if I see any signs of, any sign of trouble, I'm gonna be like, yo, no, okay, I can give you equality, but I cannot give you submission. So it was that even before we got into a relationship. So I said, do you even want to be in a relationship with me? Because even during the courting process, I was like, maybe. But then I was like, nah, I can't do it. And then
Well,
so
we opened up the show first and foremost, as I always do. I define terms because I feel like that's where a lot of these conversations break down. And I guess we're in sector side of things. So, Mr. Smoke, if you're listening, this is where I feel like we fell apart because the terms were not properly defined between the both of us. You had an idea, and I had Google. So let me just put it as nicely as I can, right? But so opening up the show, we talked about what independence mean,
right.
and what submissive means, and I also tried to get a woman's perspective. So QT tried to dial in, but I think she was, trying to do on the fly as well. But yeah,
Absolutely.
so I feel like when I say submissive, I did put that in there as a shit starter. Let's put it that way. I want, because I know it stirs people up when they hear that word. They cringe.
Right.
They cringe. But it's like,
Right.
do you understand that if your definition is not the same as mine, we're gonna have a different outlook on it?
Absolutely.
So
Because it could
my
be a
first
good
question to
thing.
you is, what is
Right.
submissive? That's my question to you. What is
Just
submissive?
automatically allowing somebody to lead you, not only you, me or the female, but the children as well. And I believe because I've been doing it so long, it's hard for me to, unless you really performing at a extraordinary rate or phenomenal rate. I'm like any little signs of I'm like, I know. Like, so he knew before I even came up here. Like, that was part of our agreement, verbal agreement, let's per se, before I even came up. I'm not going to be able to give you submission because I see some things in you where I see, like, it's not going to work out. So he said, yeah, well, I've been with submissive women and it didn't work. So there you go. So even during the courting process, I saw some signs. So it was sealed verbally, right? He was going to work on adjusting, I guess, to the idea. But so there you go. So once you've been independent, it's hard to, like I said, unless you're doing a phenomenal job, it's hard to just, fall into place, I guess, or allow somebody to take the lead. So there you go.
So what do you think? Have you ever had a man open a door for you?
Oh yeah.
Pull out your chair,
Yeah.
rub your feet,
Yeah.
rub your back.
Yeah. Because I automatically rub backs too. Feet too.
Well,
Do I
yeah, I'm
open
talking to the rub grub queen here. I know, I got it.
so there you go. So but so I see where you're going, identity. I will not open the door for a guy. I will
No,
not
that's
do
not
it.
where I was going. That's not where I
Oh,
was
okay.
going.
Oh,
Where I'm
okay.
going is, and
Okay.
this is what I kind of closed out with. There is a level of being submissive for both the man and the woman. I don't like the idea that it's only, I guess, culturally
One way.
tied to the woman being submissive. When a
Right.
man is doing that for his woman, that is a level of submissiveness, because in my definition, or at least just what I've been researching and figuring things out, it is a level of trust. It's a level
Right.
of opening up, being vulnerable.
Right.
That to me is what submissiveness is, being vulnerable. But
Can I
it's
ask
my
how old?
responsibility to,
I'm sorry.
I have part responsibility in you being submissive.
Right.
That's what I ended it
Because if
with
you're
is,
doing your job, right, identity, then it's
yes.
easy for a woman to fall in line. So I don't knock that. I just wanted everybody to be clear. Like if you're doing a great job and a woman feels comfortable with you taking the lead, I'm supporting that on the sidelines. I'm
Right.
rooting for the both of you two on this or in any relationship where it's working for them. So
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's where we kind of took the build of, understand that a woman being submissive, you have some responsibility as a man in that. You can't assume
absolutely.
she should walk through the door with that. Don't
Right.
assume that. Do
Right.
not assume that. Because one, not every man deserves it. Let's be honest. God damn. I'm
Actually,
not gonna
well,
sit here and
that's
say that all dudes deserve it. That's
exactly.
not what I'm
That's where
saying.
we absolutely.
And no, Star, I'm not just agreeing with you just for the sake of the show. That's
No,
just
I
saying.
appreciate you just saying that, and not for my sake, but just because that's reality, right? All
Yeah.
men aren't capable of leading.
Yeah. I
So,
want to be doing things for me.
right,
I want you to do that because
right,
if you enjoy doing that, hell, I'm going to enjoy doing whatever I do for you because I know you like it. So there is a
exactly,
level of being submissive for the guy as well. I got to do things. I should be doing things if I expect
right,
them to come back to me. And I feel like a lot of the breakdown is the expectations do not meet the reality because they're not necessarily real. Like you have all these expectations, not you per se, but you have
right,
all these expectations, but you feel like you have none of the responsibility.
right,
I
right,
as
right,
as a, as a man, I see that I have to cultivate that level of her being comfortable enough to want to do that.
right,
Why would I want
right.
her to feel like shit if she's making me a sandwich?
Exactly.
Why would I want her to feel like shit? I want her to feel like I am making my dude, he
My
likes his ham and
man,
cheese,
he like that
look,
melted. She goes
yeah,
like she goes the extra mile to make sure you like it just the way you need it. And because you're providing an environment though. So
yes,
men are
that's my
providing an environment
responsibility.
exactly that she has, that she can cultivate that desire. So I get it. So if you're creating an environment for a female to, or your woman or your lady to want to do that for you willingly and with desire, you're doing something that is creating that environment. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's my opinion on it. Again, everybody doesn't have to think like identity, feel like identity. I'm speaking my truth of I don't give a damn who calls me anything close to a simp or whatever else. I
Right.
know that the most important relationship or the longest in duration that I plan to have is my marriage.
Right.
That's going to be around longer than my career. It's going to be around longer than any other contract I get into, whether it's a house, mortgage, car, whatever.
Right.
If this is the person I plan on, leaving this earth and they're going to be by my side, yeah, this is the longest one I got. So why would I not pay attention to it and figure out what can I bring to this to make it better?
Exactly.
And I don't want her to feel like she has to bring it because society says a woman should submit. Well, wait a minute. It's like, why do I need? I'm not that arrogant. I am not that
Right.
arrogant. I don't give a shit about that, the titles and the this and that. Like, I just want to make sure she's good, and hopefully
Absolutely.
she feels that same way about me for as many days as we have. So,
Right.
Anything on that?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So,
You
yeah.
basically creating an
I'm
environment for
sorry.
her to. Yeah, it's the men. Men have to create the environment for the
See, all you
woman.
heard was what a man had to do. That's all you heard. Let's be honest. All you heard was that man gotta.
That man. Well, see, he has to build the foundation. Well, he has to build the environment. Look, so don't you have to build something for her to follow your whatever you're creating, right? That's
Well,
how
yeah,
it
that's
starts.
that's her. That's her wanting. I want her to trust me.
Right. So you're
But
doing
see, I'm
something,
asking her to be
but she's
vulnerable enough
trusting
to
you.
trust me. But I also have to deliver if I expect her to trust me again.
Right, right.
I have to. I like, and why would I take that lightly? I just don't see. I don't know. I mean, that's how I see it. Again, I'm still learning this shit. I'm not. I don't have all the answers. This is how I see it at this age, and
No,
maybe
but
in
I'm
10
right.
years,
But I agree with you though. You're right though.
and that's what scares me, Star.
Oh, but see, it doesn't listen. You do not have to be scared. Don't be scared, identity. Don't be scared. Start. I think this is a thing. In my experience, there haven't been dudes that had created an environment where I automatically, just was willing to lead. So there you go. So I'm willing to give equality because I don't want to be leading a guy. I don't want to be the head of a household. So there you go.
Well, if you don't want to be, you better get submissive in your vocabulary.
Only when the right dude comes along, identity. It has to be the right dude.
Every man doesn't deserve it. I agree with that.
Yeah. So
I know some dudes that don't like me saying that, but hey, again,
yeah,
my opinion may not be favored.
Like, well, I got the dick, so fall in line. It don't work like that. Come on, let's be honest. That's what a lot of dudes like. Listen now, I got the dick, and you're gonna have to fall in line.
Now,
Like,
do you watch that show, Married at First Sight?
Oh my God, yes. Not so the one that just went off.
Yeah, and the one chick on there was saying something like, "I want a man that can repair a car and come in the house and bake a cake." And I'm like, "What the hell?"
No. So if you're repairing the car, you deserve for me to bake the cake for you. That's your reward.
Start knocking it out the park today.
No, because I'm not that over the edge where I'm not gonna if a dude is doing his part and then I want him to reward himself, that's not gonna happen. You're gonna get your rewards, for doing your part.
I feel like that was an example of somebody coming in with unrealistic expectations.
Absolutely.
It says nothing about what you plan to bring to the table.
Exactly.
It's like everything you say is receive. I want you to fix the car. I want you to bake cakes. So where is it that you come in on this?
Exactly. It's not about you, girl. It's not all about you, girl.
And we also touched on the idea that submissiveness is relative to the woman in society when you say that word. But for the male version, a lot of people use the word simp.
Yeah, see, so you have dudes that are out here making other guys feel bad about catering to their lady. You know what I'm saying? That's not cool. So if your lady if you're doing your part, your lady is going to automatically cater to you, and then you cater to her for catering. So it just keeps going in a reciprocal, pattern. So it's giving and taking, it's give and take on an even playing field. You know what I'm saying?
So unadulterated truth is asking, am I being submissive if my wife has access to the bank account?
Exactly. So you're doing what you're supposed to do unadulterated, because there's no way you would be surviving if she wasn't cooking those meals for you. So she has to have access to the bank account. But her responsibility is not pulling funds all willy-nilly. So the woman has responsibilities too. You have to be able to trust your lady with your finances. Or with all the finances of the house, because I'm telling you, if you give the lady access to the finances, she's going to flip that just like you are. So she's not going to see the bank account as a tree. She's going to see it as a reservoir that she has to nourish, as well as you're going to see that bank account, needing to be nourished as well. So.
Yeah, that's it. It has to be two parties. It doesn't. I don't have, and I'll let this out because I don't care. I am the breadwinner,
right?
But that doesn't mean my wife doesn't eat what I eat,
right?
Now I've heard, and I don't know. I've heard different variations of how people do their money, this and that. You do it whatever way you want. I'm saying I don't mind my lady having full access to every account, because at some point I do trust her.
Right.
And I trust her that she will not make a decision that's going to hurt the family. So,
right.
I'm definitely a fan of. You got that cool stuff.
I'm sorry.
Damn, you just body bagged me.
Oh,
What I do? Did I
Seriously,
leave
Star?
you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you and the echo.
Uh oh. So sorry. What I'm gonna have to hold on. Let me adjust some things real quick here. Can you hear me? Is that
God darn. Hey, Binary, can you fire this lady, please?
shit? Okay.
Jesus. Nah, it's
Okay.
good.
Is that better?
I don't know. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay. Okay. Shit. I was trying to go to my Bluetooth is out of whack. So there you go. So I went back to my headphones. I apologize, everybody. Okay. I'm back though.
Now, do understand I'm going against my cardinal rule of 2 hour cap, and I'm pushing 2 hours and 40 minutes. So,
Oh
you must
yeah.
feel special.
I do. I did. I did. I said, I ain't gonna make it. I did need to go get tired. He go, I think thanks to the fraud and charlatans for taking
Yeah.
up a bunch of the slack, then I'm here. So if you're willing to go over 2 hours, I'm honored.
Well, I can go up to. Well, there, you just body bagged yourself. I can't even hear you. All right. A lot has been going on in the chat. I apologize for not actually reading any of the. I've been reading them, but not out loud. But yeah, there's been a lot of claims that Carla Martin might want to stop by and have some words. I don't know. Just saying. I know she has a lot to add, and I don't know when she wants to add them. But whenever you're ready, even if you have a topic we could talk about at a later date, if you're more comfortable with that, we can work something out there too. I think you can tell that I don't mind going on, diving in the deep end and having those convos that are sort of taboo sometimes. Um, and to be honest, coming into this topic, I thought I was going to get trashed by the ladies. I'm not going to lie. I really thought I was going to get trashed. But fortunately, I didn't. Fortunately, I didn't. Um, so I think Star's probably gone. I don't have any other topics to cover. This is just freestyle at this point. I apologize. Oh wait, I see some pop-ups here. Hold up.
Okay, you
There's
hear me?
one and there's two. Stargate's back and Carla Martin is in the building.
Hey, Carla.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
We can hear
Yes.
you loud and clear.
How y'all doing?
What's
Fabulous, darling.
good?
Man, I'm
Fabulous.
so mad. I'm so mad at myself. I came in late, y'all. I didn't
It's
even
all
not
good.
get it. I didn't get the notification because y'all some of my favorite people, right?
Hey, hey. Like I remember Binary basically saying that they kind of shadow ban you until maybe you do a few shows or something like that.
Oh wow.
Mm.
Well,
So you have
those folks be acting funny, but I usually search around during the course of the day. But today I got real busy. But I'm glad I came in and caught y'all. How long you been on Identity?
Since 5 o'clock Eastern.
and I've been
Oh,
here for
okay.
about 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like 2:42. I'm pushing right now.
This seems like an amazing post. It seems like an amazing conversation.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. As I said before, I love different perspectives other than my own. So,
Absolutely. We all have something to give, and then we all have something that we can take away, right?
Right.
And that's
yeah.
awesome. That's what it's all about,
Now, did you have anything that you wanted to drop or something on your mind?
Well, I just wanted to say that, I've been looking at the comments in the chat, and I also agree that we can get tripped up by words, right? And that's why I think it's really important for grown folks, at least, right, to have integrity with our words and to think before we speak. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all about give and take, the yin and the yang, right? And so when you say, can an independent woman be submissive? I think that's what the title was, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Or
So
something like that.
yeah, something like that, but those
Yeah,
words can
Star was late too. Don't worry about it.
oh good, good. I'm not alone then. All right, sis. So
Well, I was working on.
and I wasn't working. I was just running around here with my dog and cooking. And
Absolutely.
I got the grandbabies coming over tomorrow night
The
for sleep.
grandbaby.
Girl, they live for the sleepovers because they get to eat all the stuff. We're gonna do s'mores.
Yes.
We're gonna do everything that they can't do at home.
Nice.
But anyway, it's like, I tend to, at my age and stage in life, and I have a lot of young people that I'm around all the time, and I love that energy from them, and it's a give and a take. And I think that our society is so twisted, right? With a Euro lens, and I'm not, disparaging anybody in the chat. Don't take this as disparaging, right? I'm just saying that sometimes with that Euro lens, we have to just kind of put that on the back burner. We can't. I tend to throw off society's ideas about how I should be, right? And it's working for me. It is because I feel good. I tend to look good, and I give good love. I give good love, right? And so when we're talking, listen to Star piping up.
Yes, honey.
She feels some vibes coming on, y'all.
Yes, I give good love. Come on, Carla Martin.
But when you're in a really connected relationship, I think it's very, very affirming to be vulnerable. And that's what I would like to call it instead of being submissive. I would just call it being vulnerable to what the other party that you're connected with on a spiritual level, mental level, and a heart level, heart chakra. To be able to come into that person in that way. Oh my God, the vibrations, they through the roof.
Well, so to kind of build on what you just said, and it may have been just when the timing of you coming in, but the idea for me doing this show, I did want to start out using the word submissive because I redefined just based on just my understanding of what it means is one, submissive is not a connotation to just women.
No,
men can be submissive as well, and secondly, I sort of redefined it as meaning trust and vulnerability. It's all intertwined in that. So just to say it's only women is like, no, we both have to carry this.
And that's a perfect example of using integrity with your words, right? Because we need to encourage, because I don't know about y'all, but for my generation, we always heard about men dropping dead because they hold this inside and they hold that inside and they can't cry. I don't want that. I don't want that for men. I want men to be themselves, their true selves. And so that vulnerability is very appealing to me. And I'll tell you something else, guys. Men tend to become more emotional over the age of 50, and people can deny this if they want to, but that's been my lived experience, right? So I can only talk about that. But I like to deconstruct words that society has given us. I love doing that because it allows me to express my true intention and my true self. And I encourage that for everybody. So when I think of being, vulnerable in a relationship, I don't know about y'all, but I get all tingly because that's all good stuff. If the connection is there, and that's the key. I think the key is, are y'all connected on a spiritual level? Because, we can do a lot of things, and I have done a lot of things, right? But as you get older, you're supposed to get a little bit wiser. And so I just want to share the fact that I've been in some amazing connections where it was all light and it was pure, as pure as you can be, having lived decades in this society. But, we have to let our guard down to one another at some point, because we're here to evolve to our higher selves. We're not just here to accumulate things, right? We're here to be on an evolving plane. And Binary brought that up the other day in his chat about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I've known about that, oh my God, I don't know, since the 70s, right? But we lose sight of those things. And those things are crucial to living to a well-lived life. Just let me say it like that. And I'm trying to be careful about my words, but I may not be as careful as I would have if I had given this some more thought. But it spoke to me when I saw you on Identity, and I came in, and everybody just seemed to be vibing really good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I live for that stuff. That stuff is so good to me. I just like to see young people making known connections and your neurons transmitting and connecting and popping off. That's what it's all about. And if we can transfer that to another being of our choosing, whether it's heterosexual, homosexual, I don't care. Just transfer that good energy, y'all. Just go ahead and get into that flow. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Understood. Totally.
So I tend to throw off society's shackles at my age, and I think I've earned the cost to be the boss. So that's what I'm doing. And I like to share. I like to share also, because it's enlightenment, and you never stop learning, right? We never stop relating to one another. We can't. It's us. That's our essence. That's from the universe and our creator, whatever you choose to call her.
Right. Amen.
Right. Yeah,
that's all I wanted to say. I'm just feeling the vibe. I'm feeling it. And we're just, we've never met one another, right? But that's the thing about vibrations. That's the thing about vibrations. When you're going at a certain level, you miss all that low stuff. You know what I'm saying? It passes you by. And I'd rather pass that low stuff all the time. I don't want to deal in that level. And if I vibe high, then it misses me. But I'll get into that with you guys at another time. I just want to come in and say, I appreciate you, Identity. I respect you. I love you, Star.
I love you, Carla Barton.
And Binary somewhere out there in the bushes trying to create havoc.
Yeah, he says he loves you too.
He knows I love him. And I love the chat too. The chat was vibing. The chat was vibing, y'all. And that's what we need instead of all this, at my throat, be this, D riding that. We don't need that. We're talking about integrity with our words, people. And words are meaningful to me. I've used words to write grants and make money. I've used words all of my life. And I still use words, but I like to have integrity with our words. And I want us to elevate ourselves and love one another. I do. I want us to elevate ourselves, because when we do that, we make everything around us beautiful. And I'm not tripping. This is the way I live.
No, I hear you. I hear you. And I can tell you, so for me, calling this show, Voice Within Organized Chaos, there's a lot of things going on around us, but I still feel like we still need to have this voice, this conversation, these talks, these powwows,
Isn't it beautiful?
It is. Beautiful. And I can tell you what my struggle is with it, not with it, but initially coming in, because I was trying to be very careful with it. I don't want to come off as preachy, for one. And two, I don't want to come off as, I've never been through things and I'm just talking out of my ass. Like I want it to be understood that either I was you, I am you, or I could be you.
Exactly. No one has all the answers. All we can do is share our lived experiences and be hopeful about it and be truthful. The main thing is truthful. So when I came in, I don't know, you may have heard it or you may not have, but I shared, a very traumatic domestic violence situation that I went through with my daughter's father. And, I just tell the truth about the thing. I don't care how anybody really feels about me, because it doesn't matter, really. I'm just telling the truth. And to me, if somebody can relate to a truth that I'm, talking about, that's worth something to me, because it may save them a couple of steps, of avoiding a situation that they don't have to go through. I mean,
Right.
it's just about being honest, and we have to take time for ourselves. We can't continuously be at each other's throats all the time. It's just not healthy for us. We don't need it. We are village people, y'all. We really are. And we just can't be at each other's necks.
That's what Skoldrad says.
We just can't. It's unhealthy for us. We have blood pressure issues. There's all kind of things that that with positive thinking. It's like an old lady told me, and I used to love talking to old women. Okay, and now I'm an old woman, and I don't know if people like talking to me or not, but I used to like talking to them because they would say stuff like, "What comes up from the well is in the bucket." I'm like, okay. What? And so what they said to me, what that meant when we broke it down, when I took the time to sit and listen to them, they was like, fill yourself with positivity, because what you pull up from that well is going to be in that bucket. So if you pull up a bunch of gunk, garbage, trash, filth, then that's what you're going to have for your day. That's what your life is going to be about, because our minds are so powerful. Our minds are, when they say mind over matter, it's real, y'all. It's real. Because when I went through my cancer challenge, I didn't cry a tear. I was like floating above everything. I was doing my personal research, don't get me wrong. And me and my oncologist, we would go back and forth, and she would say, okay, I'm just going to be quiet and let you talk. And I had a whole list every time I went in for chemo, right? And, but I never shed a tear. It's because I was sharing, first of all, I shared my story, and I had so many people lifting me up, you guys. It was unbelievable. It was more miraculous than giving birth. Okay.
Wow.
If I can say that. It was more, and my daughters, I have two. And so, going through childbirth, the first one was natural. The second one was not, because I was like, give me all the drugs. But it was facing death, right? And, checking off your boxes as you go through this health challenge, being so lifted by other people. Man, you can't buy that shit. You cannot buy that.
Right.
You better speak it. You better speak it, honey.
I'm telling you, I'm just speaking from my heart. I'm just speaking from my heart. And so when I see us struggling with one another over BS, I get heated too, because I like who I like, and I support who I like, and somebody come at them, it's like they come at one of my kids. But that's just me. I'm a feeling person. I feels. But okay. I also have to step back, gather myself, and try to use integrity with my words.
Yeah,
that's all
absolutely.
I'm saying.
Me too.
And we have to deconstruct these words that society has given us, because it's with a Euro lens. It's not with our lens. It's
absolutely.
Not. And
the European guys.
It's in my, I guess the jargon that I use is redefining your existence. Like I don't have to succumb to anything that you tell me I am.
Exactly.
I don't have to. I know who I am. Mm-hmm. So I don't need you to define it for me. And if I'm not that, I can become that. It's like so many things that I hate to think that I'm coming off preachy, but I wish I had what you and Honeybee have. Like sometimes when you guys get on the panel, everybody shuts up.
Everybody shut. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to shut anybody down, because I love the youth.
Well, no, it's not. It's actually respect. It's pure respect.
It is. The bullshit dissipates. The bullshit runs.
Well, I mean, because
that's what it is.
I think that I have a pretty good BS detector, right?
Right.
But I don't want anyone to feel prohibited from speaking their truth. And I don't know what everyone's truth is. I just want them to be validated and affirmed in that truth. That's all what I'm about. And then let's come back around to a meeting of the minds and a meeting of the spirit. That's it. I'm not here to preach or nothing like that, because I don't have all the answers, and I love learning. I will learn to my last breath. You hear me? Mm-hmm. I will, because I value learning. I value research. I value exploration. I value finding everything out. I want to know so much. And the more I know, the more I want to know. You see what I'm saying? And so I just love this space that you guys are creating, you know, and I want it to be contagious. I want us to just be able to have a space where we can come in, and if we need to cry, we lift them up, you know, do whatever we need to do. But being vulnerable in a connection is one of the most blissful experiences I can prescribe for anybody. And it is, you can't fake that, okay? Because your gut is not going to let you fake it. And you need to be intuitive about things, right? Because your gut is going to tell you. But if you get that connection, you don't want to let that go. Trust me, you don't want to kick that in the ass. You don't want to kick that into the gutter. You want to nurture that. You want to bring that forth. And baby, whoa, when you get to doing the dang.
Hold on. Are we having a grown folk conversation right now?
Well, we might get into that. We got to, but I'm not gonna go there with y'all because it's too early in the evening.
Yeah, we might have to do a late night episode.
Stargate After Dark.
I can't start. I'm gonna be on there like, who's
Stargate
up?
After Dark.
You up?
Oh, who's up? Who's up?
And the guy's gonna be looking down saying, I might be up. See, y'all done got me talking bad. Baby, listen, that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to just pop in and just let y'all know that keep on creating safe spaces for us, because we got enough bullshit. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cuss at all, but we got enough stuff out here that we dealing with, you know, and I like to drop a lot of stuff because I do all kinds of research, you know, and Biden just dropped a $3 billion equity and jobs program today. Did y'all hear about that?
No, I didn't even see that.
Man. Yeah, it's through the Economic Development Agency and his Build Back Better. And I put it out. I was like, pay attention. Anybody that's got a nonprofit out there, pay attention. They getting ready to pour money in. And it's all about equity. Job training, apprenticeship programs, sports-related programs for our kids in our communities. I mean, you know, I'm not a Biden fan. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. But I am political because this is America, right?
Right.
This is America.
I drop a lot of different things. This is America. So I drop a lot of, oh, God. Ooh, I just thought that visual just came to me. Well, you know,
talking about the video, right?
The video.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Childish Gambino.
Yeah, well, that and, you know, the other person.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna just go on past that. But
yeah. I feel like definitely, obviously, I'm doing this because I'm trying to bring something different, but also relevant.
Right.
And I'm trying to stay away from the word needed because I want it to be wanted. That's what I want it to be.
And you can create that environment where, you know, it's like they said, build it and they will come. You can create that, but it takes a lot of nuance and it takes a willingness. And that's all I'm saying. I just want to come in and say, I believe in us. I think this was a very healthy space. And I just wanted to contribute what little that I could. And I just want to encourage us to love one another and try to be more accepting of one another, you know, and just try to just step it up a little bit with our words so that we're not, you know, cutting people at the quick. That is so easy to do. It's so easy to do. And we're better than that, y'all.
Yes, definitely. People out here making diss tracks. What's wrong with them?
I don't know. I mean, they see what's going on. Again, it's that
what's
society.
Wrong with them? Identity.
I don't know. I have no idea. I only got one.
Who raised you?
Hey, that one wasn't a diss. That was enlightenment. That one was
enlightenment. I got you. You're right.
And some of it's fun, but we can't get too personal with it. That's something I'm saying.
Right.
That scares me. And I'm not a scary person. I'm a fighter, right? But it's alarming. That's what I would say. It's alarming to me because I don't want to see no harm come to nobody in this sector, because I think everybody has something to contribute. And I just want us to step our game up a little bit, and we can take baby steps at it. That's okay, but don't kick. Let's try not to kick somebody when they're down, and let's just try to step it up a little bit. And that's what I think that you're doing, Identity. I think that's what Star's doing. I think that's what Binary is doing, and many others, and many others too, y'all.
It's a few of them.
I think there's gonna be resistance to what we're doing, but that's okay. It's gonna come with the territory.
Because
I'm gonna stay the path. I'm gonna stay the path, and I mean I think my theme was always there. I just never really noticed it, and now I'm noticing it. Like, wait a minute, I'm kind of saying what I've been saying, and I just didn't have a channel to do it.
You're stepping into it with authority in a big way. That's the vibe I'm getting from you, and I'm loving it.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you joining and giving feedback and everything. I mean, you bring a lot to this whole effort that I'm doing here.
Well, it's all for love, and I'm going to drop off now. And thank you for giving me this.
Appreciate your time. You have a great night.
Okay, love y'all. Love the chat.
Love you.
Love you too, Carla.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Man, oh man.
Carla and honey.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, I'm about to go simp and cater to my wife. So
listen, that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing.
I told her that 3 hours is my cap. That's going to be my cap. 2 hours, I was trying to cut it just for simplistic on the replay, but hey, when the build's what it is, let it ride.
3 is good. 3 is good. It's not bad at all. So yeah. Well, I appreciate
I couldn't stop the build. It kept going. I was like, I don't want to stop it like that.
Sometimes you have to, marathon that thing. Well, even though this is a short marathon for you, but but listen, this is a marathon for you. So sometimes you just gotta go with the flow, and it works out. You gotta trust yourself, right?
Yeah, and you didn't get trashed in the chat that much, girl.
Listen, they saw a new star. They saw a different side of it. They saw a different star today.
He was like, wait a minute, Identity's agreeing with her. Wait a minute.
What is this? I can't wait to go back to read the comments.
Yeah, I'm so appreciative of everybody still rocking with me. I'm going to close out. Star, I appreciate you. Do you have anything you want to close out with?
I just appreciate everybody. This is a different. I know a lot of people don't get to see the complexities of Star, So
Jesus.
I know. I do declare.
What's your cash app, girl?
Oh, if anybody find my contribution valuable, it is $Stargate Love 9. I appreciate that, bro. Thank you.
Yeah. Share the wealth, right? We all here together.
We all here together. All right, let's build together.
And when you eat steak, I eat steak. That's how we roll.
Hey.
Yeah, we rocking the noodles. We do what we gotta do.
I love it.
Yeah, have a good night, girl.
All right, thank you, Identity. Have a good night, bro.
All right, peace out. There you go. Another great day in the neighborhood. So we covered a lot today, y'all. I know I already did my final thought, but I'll do my closing remarks here. Please hit the like button, share, subscribe to the channel. There will be more of this coming because I can do this every day if I could. I just love the build. Thanks for rocking with me. Hopefully we learned something about this topic. Just understanding that submissiveness is not necessarily a woman thing. We all have levels of ownership in that word, whether you're talking about your mother, your father, whoever else. Definitely to the guys who did not know, you do have some responsibility in a woman being submissive. Don't get mad at me because I said it. You don't even have to believe what I said, but just understand that there is a level of responsibility. Trust me, it'll open up a world that you never even thought was possible, all because you went against the grain and forget people calling you a simp or anything goofy like that. At the end of the day, it only matters what you and your partner think. So opinions are like a-holes. Everybody's got one. Who cares? So the most important one you should be listening to is your partner anyway. Hence the word partner. Hence the word partner. You have to get old someday. Who do you want taking care of you? The one you've been submitting yourself to, the one you've been being vulnerable with and opening up to and sharing your experiences and, good or bad, y'all ride together, y'all everything. And then, when we get to those ripe ages of not being able to maybe not take care of yourself, but just to the point where you need a little assistance, I guarantee you're going to be looking for a level of love that only could be had if it was cultivated to be that. I just don't see how that works. If only as a guy, if only you created an environment of neglect and abuse, that makes no sense to me. So that's my opinion on it. Thanks to the mods. I know you guys don't even know if you were modded up or not, but check the chat. If you have a wrench, you're a mod. I just went back and just saw who was asking for a wrench, and that's what I did. So, I don't think anybody was in the chat acting crazy anyway, so this was an easy day for some of you guys. Also, get notified by I do have 2 new tracks dropping very, 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 very soon. Only thing right now I have are the snippets. I will drop this first one. It's called Spoken Word. If you haven't heard it already, I am challenging the concept of mumble rap. I've only been a rapper for 3 months. Don't hate me. But I am bothered by the idea that you're putting out a song where I have to figure out, and you're proud that I don't know what words you're using. That is crazy to me. So I went the complete opposite. And I literally went to another level I wanted all the words to have a certain rhythmic feel to them, but also they had to make sense. I'm not just going to throw it together just because it rhymes. That doesn't get me up in the morning. So the challenge was to actually make it make sense. So here's a snippet of Spoken Word.
Now we should know better. We're go-getters, tethered to cheddar, regardless of weather. Spitting truth, which gets wetter as it gets better. Got that cold flow, grab a leather sweater, maybe patent leather or pleather. Whatever's your pleasure, time to come together and treasure these clever letters I put together. However, not at your leisure, no pressure. It's now or never. Hey yo, hip hop, we have a village to raise. Got these mumbling youngins running and gunning for privilege and praise.
Spoken Word. Yeah, that one, I dug deep on that one. So that should be dropping soon. I'm trying to wrap up the video portion of it to release the full song. And my second track that I'm working at the same time. Part of the reason why I'm doing 2 or 3 tracks at the same time, because I write what comes to me at the moment. I don't force it. I don't make it happen. It just happens, and it'll be done when it's done. So this next one's called On the Run. I was inspired by the movie we reviewed on Binary's channel called Antebellum. And I thought about writing a story on the experience of escaping slavery. I thought that was a very unique idea of telling a story, but again, not just because the words rhyme, blah blah blah. I wanted to take you on the journey. So here's a little 30-second clip of On the Run.
Start creaking, drop to the floor, skip the boards, that's weekend. Hope God's looking at this. Time to get credit for just being Baptist. Gotta get the kids up. Don't wake master his sleep. We can't disrupt. Breeze door hinges and the lock we rigged up. Open it slow and pray to God it don't get stuck. Okay, head to the church house. Creep to the back and be as quiet as a church mouse. Can't take a breather. Heart running fast, but we gotta reach the preacher. Oh damn, preacher on some bullshit, trying to slow us down and got us praying at the pulpit.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, hopefully you heard that. Hopefully you guys got that. My internet was body bagging me. So definitely check me out. I'm gonna hopefully get something out in the next maybe 2 weeks. Taking my time with it, letting it build itself. So again, thanks for rocking with me. This is Identity Withheld, episode 3 of Wanted, the voice within organized chaos. And I bid you adieu. Thank you all for rocking with me. Peace.
The Negro still is not free.
We are oppressed. We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Manifest how great you are. Dream about your greatness.
Come hell or high water, I'm going after my
Greatness, greatness. Greatness, 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 greatness.
Greatness.
How can I fake this humbly gracious to have this greatness, greatness?
Greatness.
Every time I wake, this greatness takes this black man higher places.
Greatness.
Melanated magic strapped to my back with the fact I deserve higher praises.
Greatness.
Based on my race. Last place is the only status.
Greatness.
Placed in the basement with no way out. What's the basis?
Greatness.
Look around. All I see are familiar faces with that greatness gazes. Make me wonder what this baseless, tasteless trace of races.
Greatness.
Pointless to think you can keep me down and back in cages.
Greatness.
Shackle minds like gap teeth with the rubber band embraces.
Greatness.
Breaking chains every day that oppress my people for ages.
Greatness.
Faceless acts of rages.
Greatness.
Because of what my race is.
Greatness.
I'm gonna say this price is way too high. Who's gonna pay this? Conversations of reparations ain't even enough to erase this.
Greatness.
Can't get enough of us. We're on your favorite playlist.
Greatness.
But you play us out. Just comply and fucking take this.
Greatness.
I now see my greatness and I know you really hate this.
Greatness.
You can't debate this. I define what my integration is.
Greatness.
Is this a true test from God? Then I'm gonna ace this.
Greatness.
Is this God within me? I'm not gonna waste this.
Greatness.
Every day the media portray top car chases of people with the same faces, which is nothing but misguided greatness. Driving aimless and hungry, not knowing death is what that taste is.
Greatness.
Gripping tight on the wheel. Jesus, take this.
Greatness.
Gripping hard on that steel, death or jail is what my fate is.
Greatness.
Survival by any means is the meal. Don't forsake this.
Greatness.
There should be more for us. Life can play tricks.
Greatness.
Where's our Morpheus? We're stuck in a matrix.
Greatness.
Reflections of our Savior has been blurred by all this fake shit.
Greatness.
Looking to the sky for hope is done or quite pervasive.
Greatness.
Killing those who find the knowledge quite persuasive.
Greatness.
Once I'm labeled as abrasive, soon to follow evasive.
Greatness.
Savage is what we're told the angry black man is laced with.
Greatness.
Change the context, change the narrative with what we're graced with.
Greatness.
Pop that chain of mental restraint and fly like we are weightless.
Greatness.
Mother Nature has the key. Please open the gate, man.
Greatness.
I'm here to claim my throne. Don't step on my cake, man.
Greatness.
Black Panther to the bone. No need to rate this.
Greatness.
Greatness, greatness. Greatness, 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 greatness. Make sure you get to take this and loop back for all the late kids.
Greatness.
All the boys and girls who don't think that their lives are precious.
Greatness.
All the people who feel circumstances are a death wish.
Greatness.
All the challenge within that we are blessed with should be acknowledged, not demolished by the oppressor.
Greatness.
That's our true resume. Extremely impressive.
Greatness.
I got nothing left to say, but seek incentive for
Greatness.
that greatness. Greatness, 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 greatness. We have a long road ahead to overcome this blatant hatred.